this time. I'm trusting it. There, YouTube just failed on me in the back. It says live streaming isn't available right now. That's great. I'm pretty sure it's working right. I'm going to refresh that page. It always does that whenever it is working. And yes, it says we've been live for 17 seconds. It's showing a black page though, so that's not filling me with confidence. Okay, now there I am. We're going. Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shadow, Internet personality of Sarah, and welcome back to Live and Wired. This one, the episode, the 44th, Clownfish. Joining, we have Patricia Miranda.
Hey, everyone.
And that long-haired creepy guy.
Yo.
Aha! I can do this. I really need to get a hobby. So, let me just make sure I got everything going. Got it going. It's streaming to YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, DLive, Alfreaka TV. All that seems to be going correctly. I'm just making sure the Alfreaka TV integration is working fine.
Awesome.
Showing 32 viewers on YouTube right now, so the YouTube the YouTube viewer count is working. I got that fixed. Yeah.
Yay.
Now to find out if the jar actually freaking works with super chats. But anyway. Hello.
We actually do. Yeah, we actually have a few views. One of them is from Greece. So hello. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Nikok. I'm sure. Hey there. Hello from love from Greece. Everyone in saying hello, hi, I'm here, thumbs up. So, thank you so much for coming on by to the stream.
John Washburn is asking, do I also get viewers from Facebook? Evil1976 is now hosting the stream with one viewer, and the alert box shows the proper dancing Myers, so that's working too. Hot damn!
Lupusilo is asking if I'm cosplaying as Beetlejuice. No, I'm not. This is actually blue. It's actually dark blue.
The fun of cameras.
I do like the idea of Patricia cosplaying as a female Beetlejuice. That actually would be awesome.
That would be interesting.
But in terms of the streaming to Facebook, no, because for some strange reason, while Restream is set up to allow you to link to all kinds of different services and just stream out to them for free, there is a paid option where you can put in your own custom servers. And even though Facebook is like the biggest fucking social network on the planet, that's a custom server. So, if I want to live stream Live and Wired directly to Facebook, I gotta pay them. And you can just ask Creepy. I ain't about that life.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't try and get me to pay it for it.
Hello, Rambo Elliot Hansen from Denmark. We're actually going to be talking about Rambo later on in Live and Wired. Michael Tarr has a question. Hi, Decker. I have a question about your intros. Do you really stop the camera, run outside, and yell "the summer of" and come back, or do you film it separately and just stand up and sit back down? I think it's the latter.
I don't want to spoil the magic, but it's the latter.
It's the latter.
It would be more consistent if I actually did that, because then however frazzled I get my hair and whatever the hell I do, it would make more sense. It would be... It wouldn't have as many continuity errors if I would actually do that. So maybe I should. Run out and roll around in some mud screaming the summer, doing the summer shout, and then come back and just be covered in mud for the rest of the review. Dylan Jenkin 50 on Twitch was asking John Wick 4 will be coming out in May of 2021.
Oh, nice.
And Feed the Swag Pig 5 on Mixer asks, when are you gonna do A Curse of La Llorona? And I'm still traumatized by the first time I technically did that. It wasn't the new one. It wasn't even close to it. It was several years prior, reviewing a movie that was straight to video that was made several years prior to me reviewing it. That involved The Curse of La Llorona. And that movie was just so, like, what the hell, that I still kind of have flashbacks to that. Every time someone brings up The Curse of La Llorona, that's what I think about. And I'm like, no!
I don't remember this one. I don't remember seeing this review.
It was the main guy, the main protagonist, looked a lot like James Manic Expression.
Yeah.
And that was a running joke
like,
throughout the review. Blake the
Yes.
Gambler's now following. Welcome.
Hello. And also, I think it was you thought it was an asylum film because the acting was so bad and the effects were so terrible. I remember that you were mentioning about that as well.
Yeah, I was surprised it wasn't, but it's actually, like, as I've gone and reviewed more asylum movies, I've kind of come to the conclusion that, yeah, they actually have higher standards than that movie. So,
of course, back then, Decker, like, Asylum was a main staple of Decker's, weekly reviews. So, like, anytime there wasn't an Asylum film that Decker was reviewing, it was always kind of a big deal. And then he went back to reviewing a Asylum film, like just one.
And now we're getting even more requests for a summer of Asylum. The Destroyer 9 is now following. For some reason, the Mixer alert still shows the pixel art zombie, though I'm pretty sure I went through all the alerts and tried to mess with that. Also, Evil has just subscribed. Evil 1976. It just says Evil on the little scroll bar, so I'm like, okay.
I actually had a thought. Like,
thank you very much.
I wonder if there's ever going to be a point where I can get Decker to review all of the Harry Potter movies.
I would love that. I would love to collaborate with you on this because I'm a huge fan. I have a golden snitch. I'm going to go get it.
I know that Harry Potter isn't all just happy little Hogwarts kids and chocolate frogs. There's definitely some horror elements to it, but at the same time, it's Harry Potter. You're asking me.
Yes, here's my snitch. I got this from Universal Studios when I was visiting.
Oh yeah, they got the butterbeer, don't they?
Yeah, I actually tried it.
That reminds me, there's a thing that's going on. A couple of little things going on, Patricia. I know didn't make it into the news sheet because I didn't tell you about them. Because that's the kind of guy I am. That's the managerial skill of Deck and Shadow right there. But yeah, there was this weekend.
Yeah.
Universal Studios Orlando and Hollywood would be having Halloween Horror Nights, and one of the big things going on in Halloween Horror Nights this year is going to be Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That's right. I did hear about that. I think I liked a tweet from John Massari when he was mentioning about this.
Yes, he's been in contact with me, talking back and forth, and he's been telling me, hey, Decker, it would be really good for your channel and your career if you would cover this and just go and do it and be there and record this and just there. And I might be there at the time, and we could catch up on, like, do a little thing together for your channel. It'd be fun. He's a real fun guy. He's actually pretty cool with the whole internet stuff.
I feel like he's trying to tell you something, Decker, but he's being too subtle about it.
The super chat did work, but it still gives the same little pixel art zombie. So I'm pleased and disappointed at the same time. But thank you, Stitch Snow. That was presented without comment. But still, $5, so it's over the, was it $2 or $3 threshold to move on from dollar bills to golden bars landing in the tip jar there. And it's all just jostling around in physics. It's so pretty. But, what's my mixer on? Should be Decker Shadow. Should. Grinimator says, please read my comment. It scrolled by. So, looking for Grinimator. Where? Okay. Hi, guys and gal. What's your favorite Kiss song? I know Creepy's one. I tweet to him sometimes.
Ooh, that's really tough.
That's like... I always assumed Decker was more of a Lordi fan.
Well, yeah, but it's like... It's not
Lordi Lordi took a big spoonfuls of influence from Kiss.
Yeah, the thing is, I never really got too deeply into Kiss, though. I only know the basic milquetoast things that everyone knows, like Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day. Like, that's like literally the only Kiss song I can think of right now on the spot. I'm terrible at this. So...
we have a $20 comment from Savage Tiger 13, and it says, when you're listening to the show and your coworker hears that Patricia is showing her snitch, and then you have to answer a lot of questions.
Okay, I've got to check to make sure that... I gotta check to make sure this is still monetized, actually. Be right back. Oh, boy.
I'm sorry.
But
if you're wondering, it's this.
It's the thing that Harry Potter catches to win the game because it's worth more points than doing literally anything else.
Pretty much.
But on Halloween Horror Nights, I've been like, he's been telling me about going to Halloween Horror Nights for Killer Clowns for a while, and I've been like, I'd love to, but I don't know if I'd have the funds, and I am serious. YouTube's ad revenue is at the point where it's just in the toilet for some reason, and it's been really frustrating all throughout the summer of Jackie Chan. I'm hoping after that ends and I go back to doing a little more horror, things will pick up a bit. But it's a combination of YouTube like, nah, you don't need money, and viewers like, it's Jackie Chan again. That's great, but I'm going to wait for something I'm more interested in. That's not a good combo right now for actually being able to afford Halloween Horror Nights, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, got like a week to go. The absolute last-ditch effort I could make would be just a straight-up eBay here, but I'm going to say no. If you're thinking of that, don't. It's not going to work because, like, if it's going through Super Chat, YouTube takes a 30% cut anyway. It's a pretty big damn cut. If we're ignoring that, I'd still have to eBay my ass off for like $500 or so for gas to get down there. It's going to take like 2 days to drive and 2 days back. 12-hour drive, but logically 6 hours a day is the maximum most people drive. But I'm just saying, like, if that doesn't work out, if it wouldn't pull that off by, like, if only eBaying up to 300, which is an ass load to take from a lot of people, I wouldn't be able to do it, and I'd have a whole ton of money that people have given for something that I'm not going to be able to deliver on. So I think we should just take the L and say, okay, I'm not going to make it. I'm very sorry about that. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is. Unless there happens to be a millionaire watching right now who can do the entire donation in one go and is just really feeling for the trying story of this man who spends his time watching movies and talking about them. The plight of his life is really just something that just tugs at the heartstrings.
Play the Sarah McLachlan song in the background while you're...
No, that'll get this copy striked even faster.
Yep. I mean, ignore the rest of us. We don't matter, Patricia, but just make sure Decker gets there.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah, that's right. If I want Creepy, you're close by. You could drive. You got a license. We could race. You got a head start, but, I drive like an asshole, so I'll make it fast.
I was going to say, I don't like the idea of racing Decker anywhere.
You just race down the grocery store aisle to get to the cereal. You're like, no! And I'm just there like an excited 8-year-old. Just Captain Crunch.
We have a new member. Welcome, the Autistic Gamer 89. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Ooh, boy. Lizard's Reviews asks, hey, Creepy, what are your thoughts on Disney still not giving Jordan Peele the go-ahead on a live-action Gargoyles series? Or was it a movie?
I mean, I'm less interested in a Gargoyles remake and more interested in just seeing Greg Weisman get to actually finish the series. even if it was finished like as a series of movies, I would be okay with that. Like if he was like, if they
what you want is closure.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I don't want so much a remake as I just want to see how it's...
We have a $2 comment from Sitch Snow who says, they take 30%. Jesus, here now till 5 from me.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah,
yes, those are the dollar bills. Those are the dollar bills scrolling across the screen right now. Mm-hmm. The tip jar is getting some use today. It's nice. Last time it just kind of sat there and collected follows, which is still nice, but...
It's actually interesting because I think that now we can be able to have an opportunity for shows to come back. It was even like referenced in Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling, where Mr. Bighead was saying, the fans have all the power. You can bring the show back. And, we've seen this happen multiple times over the past few years or so.
Mm.
And even with Young Justice, it's getting its 4th season now. They just announced it not too long ago.
Yeah, I've heard that. I saw that. It was like really big news for like a day or at least a day or two there. It was all over the place, but there was like, yeah, Young Justice is going to get a season 4, not just a season 3. So, yay. The Wiseman curse is officially revoked.
I know, right?
Unless he's taken off of season 4, like they did with Gargoyles season 3.
Don't jinx it, Creepy. Don't jinx it.
Oh boy, lots of comments. Srose40 says, "I know every Kiss song ever recorded." John Washburn is saying Gargoyles from 1972 would be a better fit. 70s cheesy horror.
I've heard about that movie. Yeah, one of the very few horror movies involving with gargoyles.
Mm-hmm. Like, you kind of feel like Gargoyles, the Disney series, put Gargoyles just in general on the map. Before there were this very obscure horror figure, and like now all of the little girls who grew up watching Gargoyles and reading and writing Gargoyles fan fiction, now they're writing their own Gargoyles romance novels and getting them published. Like, if you go to some publishing companies and you scroll through the supernatural, slash horror slash paranormal, whatever, romantic fiction section, there will be at least one, maybe more, romantic stories about a gargoyle that falls in love with a human woman.
Of course.
Of course. This will be the basic premise, if nothing else.
True that. We have a comment from 18 Brothers Studio. What did you guys think of Invader Zim? I actually enjoyed the show very much. I have the DVD in my corner right there.
Charlie keeps making references to Invader Zim whenever we're talking about things. Like I had the Doom trilogy effectively came out on like every system, so I bought them on Switch. And on Switch, you have your games lined up, and it was just like Doom, Doom 2, Doom 3. And so Charlie was looking at that, and she's making reference to the Doom song. And I'm there staring at her because I didn't watch Invader Zim. I had no idea what the hell she was talking about. But she's like, no, you are learning this, firing up the PlayStation, we're going on to the YouTube. Like, you will watch this. I'm like, it's okay, I don't have to. It's like, yes, you do!
All right, here, borrow my DVDs. There you go. Just take it.
That'll work.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I think
There we go. The power of giving you the DVD.
The power of the Doom DVDs caused her camera to freeze up.
Of course it does. Now you're going to get a whole bunch of comments saying, review static cling, review static cling.
Now, to unleash screaming temporal doom.
We have a $5 comment from the autistic gamer NE9. Hey Decker, been a fan ever since finding your Pumpkinhead 2 review. Keep up the good and entertaining reviews, and may the body count keep rising.
It's a good thing that we know what that's a reference to, otherwise that would sound very worrying.
I know. It's like, it reminds me of like, there was this show back in the 80s called Heart to Heart about a millionaire and his reporter wife. Just go with it. It was the 80s. And their side hustle was they solved murder mysteries together. Like not for it didn't lead to like a family member being murdered. It wasn't like they didn't have a detective agency. They just stumbled across dead bodies on a regular basis and solved murder mysteries for the hell of it. This was how they were unwound together.
Okay. I mean, like, that's a way to spend, time with your significant other.
Right?
It's like, long walks on the beach, having a nice romantic dinner, watching movies, solving a murder case. Just romantic.
Exactly. Like, this was just a thing they did. And like in the very first season, the tagline at the end of the opener was, "Their hobby is murder." And they had to change it after season 1 because people who were unfamiliar with the show tuned in and thought that this was a series about a happily married couple of serial killers.
My God.
Now, the funny thing is that a TV show about a happily married couple of serial killers sounds like something you would find now on Netflix.
Yeah. Wasn't there one like that was done not too long ago that starred Drew Barrymore?
I just remember the one series Dexter was really popular.
Oh yeah, Dexter. Yeah, that's also another one too.
Right.
Oh wait, no, Drew Barrymore was a zombie. I think. Never mind.
Yeah. I know the one you're talking. I know you're the one.
But they're the good kind. They only eat the fresh brains from the
yeah.
They don't go out and do the eating of the brains from the living.
Okay, so it's like the zombie equivalent. So this is the zombie equivalent of the vampires from Twilight. They don't suck people's, human blood. They only are vegetarian vampires where they go after deers.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Gotcham30 saying I thought Pocahontas was 1996. That's not the one I was trying to read. Okay, what are your thoughts on the new Joker trailer? I didn't actually watch the trailer. Dang it, I'm not good at anything.
I was like,
I've seen pictures.
I found it, but I was like,
I've seen people making hot takes that I roll my eyes to, and like it's just a movie.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
I was just kind of like, I don't think I want to watch this.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
Someone was asking. I couldn't find the comment, but someone was asking about what I thought of, or did I play Doom 2016? And I believe I played that for the gaming channel. I was going to try and do it in Vulkan, because in Vulkan I could get frame rates of like 120 frames a second, but Vulkan does not agree with literally anything I had to record the footage. So I ended up playing it at a buttery smooth 30 frames a second. And played through Doom 2016 and Doom VFR on the gaming channel. So, yeah, that was a whole lot of fun for Doom 2016. Doom VFR is like, you had the obvious concept of virtual reality Doom. And they're like, no, we're actually just going to take the Doom 2016 engine, slice it out. You don't play as Doom Guy, you play as Douchey Ghostface. And you have a very small series of levels to go through, and good fucking luck being able to move, because you don't actually have that kind of control with the Move controllers. So you could use an aim controller, and then have a grenade launcher just tied to your chin the whole time. Or you could play with a DualShock and aim with your head with both guns tied to your chin.
Yeah. We have a $1.99 donation from Mr. Krabs in a comment saying, "How's the new place and what's the next review?"
New place? I've been here a few years now. There's been worries about having to move, and things are just going crazy and all that. But as far as it goes, this place is kind of nice. I know there was a while I was here that I couldn't really act like I was here because we didn't have internet for months, and that was a bit of a problem. I mean, how many times have you watched Spirited Away in a row?
Wow. I mean, you got me there.
That was just what me and Charlie likes to have the TV on, playing something when she goes to sleep. So, I mean, I generally don't, but I have to do that because she is my significant other, and that is more significant than my own desires.
Fair enough.
So, ended up...
yeah, it's actually interesting. I mean, that some people... I guess it's white noise, because I know some people, they like to listen to, like, static or raindrops when they want to go to sleep, or they just, watch something so that they can be able to just drowse, be a little drowsy when they get ready. So, everybody's different.
I knew someone who, if you put on Kung Fu Panda, they would pass out like a rock.
Well, I mean, that's not surprising. But in terms of... having something to play, we just had the DVD of Spirited Away, so throw that in the PlayStation and have that go at night as we go to bed. And if after enough times of watching the beginning and possibly to the middle before falling asleep, Spirited Away has become a story about a girl whose family gets lost, parents get turned into pigs, and she gets a shitty job. The end.
Yes, if you watch it towards the middle, that is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta love Miyazaki and his like weird and creative ideas of world building and character journeys into the absurdity.
The super chat just went bling.
I already got it.
Two of the gold bars just went to the side, and they didn't actually fall in the jug.
I got it already. It's $5 from the Terror of Death. Hey Decker, when you eventually review Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019, will it be a crossover with Creepy since it has his monster in it?
Creepy, will it be a crossover with you?
Fine.
I think that if it's not, there's going to be more people asking why not than if it is. There'll be amount of people saying, like, fuck, a crossover with him again.
Yeah.
Which actually doesn't happen nearly as often, I guess. I guess everyone who was really that upset about that has unsubscribed by now.
Mm-hmm. I do remember a couple of years ago when you reviewed Nightmare on Elm Street 2. A lot of people were disappointed that I wasn't in that review. They expected me to be in that one and not, what was it? Freddy vs. Jason? Was that?
Yeah, I think Freddy vs. Jason was. Yeah, it was a big finale.
Right. Yeah, but like, we still need to. I was thinking about this earlier. We still need to watch the movie that we're doing for the crossover this month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of the people talk about Doom VFR boring and shitty too, would rather wipe my arse than play Doom VFR. It's a smart idea to wipe your arse. If you ever have an opportunity to, and you're like, nah, this time I won't. Trust me, you'll regret it. But speaking
while
of
we're
Doom,
on the subject, yes, I was just about to break into that. Yes, so finally, after almost 30 minutes of talking about nothing, let's actually talk about something.
Welcome to Live and Wired.
We're the Seinfeld of live streams.
I've noticed that. It's like, we'll just segue off into these weird tangents where, just random things happen. And oddly enough, those are very popular with people. Yeah,
apparently. I'm as surprised as you are. All right, here we go. So, let's see. Doom 2016 had a pretty substantial single-player campaign, a good thing because what made it so amazing definitely not was the multiplayer options when it launched. Doom Eternal, that campaign is going to be beefier, still according to id executive producer Marty Stratton. At this year's QuakeCon, a representative from QCon forums asked Stratton how long he estimated the average playthrough of Doom Eternal to take. It's definitely bigger than Doom 2016, longer. I guess the way we're challenging players will probably make it a bit longer. My guess right now is it's in the 18 to 22 hour range on a pretty complete playthrough. Stratton points out that people approach games differently, and so the range of playthrough games for 2016's Dune reboot was pretty wide. Some players shot through it in 14 hours, while others spent more than 30 hours, scouring every gory nook and cranny for the collectibles and secrets strewn throughout the game on their first. There's still time for Doom Eternal's campaign to change, but Stratton seems pretty definite about the idea that this is going to be a somewhat longer ride. And hey, that sounds great to me. After all, at least part of it will be on a grappling hook that only attaches to me. So there you go.
Grappling hook!
Click that, click this, and yes, we're back. Okay. I know how to control the cameras. Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
at least it's, trust me, at least it's better news than what we got from last time where we talked about Doom Annihilation.
Oh.
But I'm not even a Doom fan, and I am.
I'm kind of excited for Doom Eternal, but I do feel a little odd looking at some of the gameplay because, yeah, you have a lot more traversal options, but at the same time, the amount of it they're putting into it, it looks kind of like a first-person, incredibly demonic-themed and violent Super Mario.
Pretty much.
Didn't they make a fan game with that very thing in it? Like, every time you stepped on a Goomba, like, it was just this explosion of blood.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I did.
We have $4.20 from As Pooped by Anakin Skywalker.
I'm just watching all the little things drop into the jar. I'm like, make it. Ah!
The question is, do you think Rob Zombie is a good filmmaker?
Ooh.
I think that Rob Zombie can make a good film. I think there is a decent director somewhere in there. Cinematography-wise, he is capable of setting a, he is capable of things like atmosphere, camera angles, using the various cinematography and directorial
but
tricks of the trade.
He's also very specialized. Like, he has the things he does well, and then he does not branch out from that.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem with Rob Zombie, I think, is that Rob Zombie, and I'm probably going to get myself into a lot of trouble for saying this, but doesn't know how to tell a good story. Is like, even in the staple of horror where you have characters dropping like flies, you need to have characters who, even if they're not necessarily likable, they need to be real. They need to connect with the audience in some way.
That's fair enough.
Out of all the Rob Zombie films I've seen, his characters are just
unlikable.
And I mean, not even in the sense that they're bad people. I mean, like, you can have characters who are not nice people, but they're still entertaining. They have a certain...
Right, like a good Freddy Krueger.
Right, exactly. Who is definite... Yeah. Is, but who has wit and sarcasm and a sense of humor, and is a creative way of disposing of his victims, You can do that. That's kind of the opposite of what his characters are. There's just nothing about them that makes them entertaining to watch. You're just sitting here being bored, waiting for these people to drop dead. And I think you said that, Decker, at one point when you were reviewing Rob Zombie's Halloween films. It's like he really, really, really wanted people to feel like Michael was the hero in the situation, and that everybody else in the entire world just had it coming.
Yeah, there wasn't the general random person walking down the streets in a Rob Zombie movie. You tap them on the shoulder, and they're like, "Hey, how are you doing?" They're just gonna turn around, punch you in the face, kick you in the groin, and say, "I'm doing drugs."
Pretty much.
We have a $6.
Imagine someone just joining the stream right then, just to be screaming out your videos.
Perfect timing for you and them.
$6.66 from Stitch Snow, who says, "I'm about to start the first Doom again. Can I get and the body count rise to set the tone?"
I always set the tone with a good, just listening to some Metallica, but and the body count rises.
There you go.
I've been playing Doom 2 myself. It's a lot harder than I remember it. Either that or I just suck. I mean, I'm playing on ultra violence, as you do, but I don't remember dying quite this much. I'm like, fuck. I'm on level 10 or 11, and I'm like, geez, I got 20 more of these to go. And I'm facing pain elementals that actually, they're the easy guys because they don't do anything, because when they try and burp their lost souls out of their mouths at me, nothing comes out because there's so many enemies on the map that they don't have room.
Yeah.
I'm like,
we have this is actually a really interesting question from Kevin Burdine. Patricia and Creepy and Decker, do you think that a Back to the Future remake would it get too much fan hate? That's a really tough one because Bob Zemeckis and Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale have mentioned many times that they will never do a Back to the Future remake or a Back to the Future 4. They said they'll do it over their dead body, so that's never going to happen under their watch. And yeah, this would be interesting. Let's just say we have a kid in 2019 who goes back to the 80s. Would he kind of, feel the same, like being out of place as compared to a kid who was in the 80s who went over to the 50s?
I'm wondering because I remember like there was a lot of nostalgia back in the 80s for the 50s. So
yes,
Yeah, the 80s were when people started to feel nostalgic for the 50s and 60s. So honestly, I do remember hearing at one point that there was, that there were rumors about, maybe like the son and daughter of Marty McFly steal the DeLorean or whatever, or the train or whatever, and go back in time, and so forth. And I'm like, in theory, this could work, but I feel like a big obstacle for it would be the fact that Back to the Future has become, for some people, a kind of sacred cow of time travel movies. So
it's the perfect time travel movie. You must understand, everything works together. After you're done watching all three, watch all three again, and you'll see perfection.
Yeah. I do like the idea. I think one way of doing it would be to have the kid from 2019 who goes back to the past be like someone who is actually into the 80s aesthetic, who is like, instead of Marty McFly having culture shock over just, the huge generation gap between the 50s and the 80s, of which there was a great deal, have the teenager be like, I'd love to be in the 80s. There was the music, there was the fashion, there was good MTV, like her.
And then they drop in the middle of the Cold War, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're like they've heard all of the nostalgic thing about the 80s, but then they're exposed to like the outbreak of HIV, the Cold War paranoia, the Reagan administration,
just the whole thing,
just like all of this other side of it, and they're just like, wow, no wonder everyone was doing drugs in this era. Is there nothing on TV after 7 p.m. except sitcoms?
But as pooped by Anakin Skywalker dropped 420.
They're all running the Cosby Show.
As pooped by Anakin Skywalker dropped 420, saying, in my opinion, Zombie, Edge Boy, all style, no substance. And then the real Mullins said the next Rob Zombie review should start off as, hello, World Wide Web, I'm Big Shadow, the internet personality with the best hair. And I'm doing drugs! Watch that become a new...
They wanted for me to do a spit take.
Watch that become my new little...
well, you have to do one.
Little catchphrase. And I'm going to wonder why everything's getting demonetized.
Like the last one.
Yeah, you have to do it because, you remember when... reading the 4chan comments and somebody said that you had a face that was 3 miles long and you actually used it in one of your intros. So you know what? Next intro has to be something crazy and you're going to say that it's going to be amazing. Genius.
I was about to point that out. Yeah, thank you, Patricia. I was going to say, I remember the 4chan comment. I'm Decker Shadow, the internet personality with the best hair. And a face that's 3 miles long.
Motorcycle US dropped $2 saying, guys, steampunk or cyberpunk?
I lean more towards cyberpunk. I will admit it. Although I will say that steampunk is pretty damn cool too. I'm not going to say that steampunk has, no appeal for me.
I like my video games, so I can only imagine like cyberpunk. I would think if I had a choice between the two, like steampunk seems like it could be fun, could be nice to have a conversation with steampunk one night. But cyberpunk, if I have to like be in the world, I'm like, yeah, someone could hack my brain and fry my, well, brain. But at the same time, imagine the internet. You just fucking walk in there. It's cool.
I mean, I like both of them for different reasons. Cyberpunk, it will be like all Blade Runner, and steampunk. I can like imagine. Basically, let's just take a Renaissance festival and just explode it into like the future. Which I used to go to this really awesome Renaissance festival over where I used to live, and they always had like a cyberpunk and steampunk themed month. I mean, weekend, and there would be like so many creative costumes of people dressing up, so many doctor people in Renaissance fairs and in conventions too.
I'm imagining now the three of us as I'm imagining the three of us as cyberpunk characters. We're like Shadowrunners, and Patricia is the most competent character there is. Like basically, Patricia would be the. I guess is Decker the right term for? Yeah. Right. Patricia would actually be the Decker, but Decker would be a cyborg, and I would be probably the cyber mage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I could picture Patricia, and it was like, no, turn left. No, your other left.
Southern Yankee says, live and wired. This is your brain on course.
Oh.
Complete with another crazy screaming girl in the frying pan tearing up the kitchen.
As pooped by Anakin Skywalker gave us another 420. Summer of Godzilla, or was that already done?
I haven't done that, but I've always felt like just take on the Godzilla movies as I feel like. Just a thing. Sometimes I feel like a Godzilla movie. That's when they come out.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Oh, that's all the time for me.
Sometimes you are one.
Yep.
Live and Wired, episode 45. I'm on drugs.
I'm doing drugs!
Thank you, John Ratz.
God damn it. That has become a catchphrase, hasn't it? Yep. That didn't take long.
Nope. It never does with you.
True. All right, so I guess we can go over to our next story. Let's actually cover one of the things that's actually in there. So, what do we cover first? The clown or the fish?
Let's go with the clown.
Okay, let's go with the clown. This is okay, clowns. And you're probably wondering
what the clowns.
Send in the clowns.
Laughing, happy clowns. They're already here. I love you, Krusty.
Quiet.
Here we go. Now, this actually was pretty hilarious when I first saw.
Share screen.
Yes. Oh, right. I didn't even post it yet. I'm actually gonna announce it right before I post it.
Oh, I knew that.
Anyway, so yeah. So a lot of people were thinking it might be It Chapter 2. I mean, the trailer's already been out. There's already been a few people, but no, this is actually has nothing to do with It Chapter 2, but it does have something to do with it. And I thought it was actually pretty funny. So here we go. In the New York Post, and we have a New Jersey woman sleeping with a knife after finding a Stephen King creation in her backyard. And aw, isn't that cute? All right, so Creepy, it's your turn.
Right. All right. Hold on.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Also, I apologize in advance if my voice is not what it should be. I have had a bad sinus infection since yesterday, and it's played havoc on my throat. So it's a nightmare come true. A creepy clown doll mysteriously flew into a New Jersey man's backyard, prompting the freaked out woman. Oh, mom's backyard. My bad. There's a little bit of a haze over things. I'm having to squint just a little bit. Okay.
Resolution isn't what it could be.
The resolution will be televised, but it will not be very. But it will not be in 1080p.
God damn it.
Prompting the freaked out woman to call the police. Torch the toy and sleep with a knife. Renee Jensen, 42, says she was relaxing by the pool in her backyard in Harrington Park Saturday afternoon with her boyfriend Alex when she... There's a lot of personal information here, too. Anyway, when she spotted the clown doll, inspired by villain Pennywise from Stephen King's 1986 horror novel It, come whizzing past. We were just talking, and we looked up, and we just saw something fall from the sky at an angle, and basically cleared all these trees and went over the top of this gate and landed, Jensen told the Post Monday. We thought maybe it was a bird.
That died midair?
That died midair, yeah. We thought that it was a bird that died midair or something.
As they do.
Yeah, that's a common thing. No, it isn't. When she took a closer look, she realized it was a toy version of the killer clown with fake blood around its mouth and satanic writing on its head.
Okay, we are back in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
That's not satanic writing. That's a number 8. That's a Q. I'm not sure what the first one is. Yeah. Okay.
Looks like a yo-yo.
Yeah. Okay, there's a T that's got a C going through it. Yeah. And then there's a Z with a line through it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that could potentially ever mean.
Oh, no. Okay, here, I got... Will last name Guy says, Chibi Pennywise, I need that. Okay, you want to know something funny?
Sadly, this one is no longer available.
Well, I was going to mention that last time on Live and Wired, we were showcasing some news about Godzilla, the Godzilla guitar that cost $50,000, and I just so happened to find a link for some more Godzilla stuff, and in the official Godzilla website, they were showing off a bunch of like little toys, and there was a mini Mothra toy, and apparently one of our viewers actually purchased and shared it on her Twitter page, and I think, Creepy and I and Decker retweeted it, and I thought that was actually awesome that, we were showing something on the on Live and Wired, and they were inspired enough to buy it.
Yeah, not my mugs, though. Fuck those. But yes. Don't actually buy the mug if it's still showing. I tried to take it down several times on Teespring, the one integrated into YouTube. I ordered one of those, and it showed up in a tiny box with hardly any insulation, without being marked as fragile, and hey, it was completely shattered when it arrived. So, if you are looking to buy a Live and Wired mug, don't get it from YouTube Teespring. I've tried to take it down several times, but for some reason it still keeps showing up for me. The ones that I sell over on the Twitch channel, integrated into that through Streamlabs, those actually are marked fragile and show up in well-packed packages. I've never got one that was actually broken. So...
yeah. Anyway, so let's continue. So, okay, Creepy, go ahead.
It was the clown doll with the writing on the forehead, and I just totally freaked out, Jesse recalled.
Really?
I didn't want to touch it. I just yelled for my boyfriend to come check it out. Her boyfriend immediately recognized the doll as the It clown. At others' urging, she called the cops, who suggested she destroy it. So that's why I burned it. No one wants a doll with satanic writing hanging out on their property, Jensen said.
Well,
I gotta say, that's a sentence I did not expect to come across when we started Live and Wired.
I mean, Creepy, of all the people who could understand where they're coming from, I think it's you. You're not exactly a fan of creepy dolls.
No, I am not.
But at the same time, I find the concept that the writing on this doll's forehead would be considered satanic to be a bit of a stretch.
Same here.
XD Gamer saying they'll buy a mug if I do a review of E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the actual one or the one Brad Jones did?
The person's name who actually the toy. Her name is Cat Lucinia. Lunicia. There we go.
Lunacia,
So yeah. So shout out to her.
I just
All
call
right,
her
so
Cat because I don't know. I'm not good at actually pronouncing names, and I've just given up.
That's fair. All right, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, just basically, Pennywise doll flew up from the sky and person burned it. So that's pretty much it.
Fun.
Yeah. So there's the clown portion of the clownfish.
Yeah, someone was saying that they think it might be viral marketing for it Chapter 2.
It could be a possibility,
Which is possible, but at the same time, if this person was the kind of person to freak out and say this scribbling is satanic writing and I must burn this, I have a strange feeling that the people around the neighborhood might actually know that that is how they react to things, and they're fucking with them.
Yeah, that was my thought. I'm thinking like just one of the neighbors decided to pull this practical joke on them.
Yeah, so... And because it is related to it Chapter 2, Lupicelia saying viral marketing if I ever seen any. I don't know if it's like intentional, but it's certainly being picked up because, well, you're going to get clicks on it right now because it Chapter 2 is kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, people are asking also whether or not I'm going to be doing a reaction review to it Chapter 2, and that is the plan. Because, dear God, the channel needs help.
All right. Southern Yankees now ask. So should we do it now?
Well, I think we should probably cover first the shark aspect.
Okay. So let's cover the shark aspect of the fish. So let's do that. Let me just click on this article. Here we go. All right. So this is the shark aspect. So we are getting a possible... Well, actually, it has been confirmed. Deep Blue Sea 3 in development at now. Just when you couldn't get enough of Deep Blue Sea 1 and 2, now you have 3.
Deep Blue Sea 1 was a big-budget, dumb shark movie. Deep Blue Sea 2 was a straight-to-DVD, incredibly dumb shark movie. I am not looking forward to what in the hell this is going to be, but let us see.
Really, really, really dumb shark movie?
On Netflix.
I'm assuming it's going to be like a shark YouTube video. At best. I really enjoyed the shark thriller Deep Blue Sea when I caught it in theaters back in 1999, and for a while afterward I was interested in seeing a sequel to it. And for everyone at home wondering, can Decker see this text any clearer? No, I can't. Unless you're watching in 144p, then maybe you're seeing it a little blurrier. But a direct-to-video sequel with a similar but sillier plot and no connection to its predecessor was not something I was very interested in when Deep Blue Sea 2, pictured above, finally came along 19 years later. So I still haven't gotten around to seeing that movie. If you have seen Deep Blue Sea 2 and were left wanting more from the franchise about enhanced sharks, you'll be glad to hear that we won't have to wait 19 years for the next sequel. Production Weekly is reporting that Deep Blue Sea 3 is already in the works. The only information available on the new sequel is that at this point it is being produced by Netflix. Oh, great! Everyone. That's already a meme. That's already a meme. I don't have to explain. Yeah. Netflix adaptation.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it just describes about the first 2 movies, but yeah, that's pretty much so far. But yeah, we're getting another one on Netflix.
Yay!
I'm so sorry.
Netflix adaptation. That reminds me, bad CGI sharks. That's still a thing. It's still coming soon. I still have the code for the thing that I'm supposed to watch and give a basic kind of review to it. Not a big long form review like I usually do, but a decent review. A little bit more in depth than a reaction review, and not quite as much as a basic long form thing. I've been sitting on that for months. They're very patient with me. I thank them very much. Also, we had a little bit of a back and forth on Twitter, And we might be able to get them on Live and Wired, but we also might have been able to get John Massari today as well, but
nice.
Things have been so hectic for me personally this week, and I was like, I just have to own up to the situation. I am not certain that I can 100% guarantee that things will actually work. So I decided, like, okay, can't really have them this episode either of them. So
Darth Necrosis as Netflix. We'll greenlight any.
So with John, I sent him a message letting him know, and with the Bad CGI Sharks team, well, I ghosted them and assume they'll understand. If you're watching, maybe next time. I'm not making us very good friends.
No. Once again, I feel like we're back in Japan.
Okay. XD Gamer is asking, has anyone seen Dark Crystal yet? I've seen the trailer, and I'm going to watch it really soon, but it looks really good, by the way.
I didn't watch the original Pan's Labyrinth that I can remember. I might have when I was like really young, and I'm too young to remember stuff.
Did you just say Pan's Labyrinth?
I think so.
I said Dark Crystal. Pan's Labyrinth is the Guillermo del Toro movie.
Well, I don't freaking know anything.
Obviously.
That would be interesting. Pan's Labyrinth, directed by Jim Henson. Wow, what a trip that would have been.
Actually,
something
that would
is
have
wrong
been
with the restream chat. I mean, it's still showing up fine there, but I mean, just over here, there we go. It's my window was just like frozen for it for some reason. It's still kind of choppy. It's great. It's wonderful. That is just what I want to see in my ability to keep track of what people are saying.
Yeah.
Did Bad CGI Sharks come out? The Real Mullins is asking that. They did have a first run order and pre-orders thing for the Blu-ray and like some merch like t-shirts and such. People say they love t-shirts. There's plenty of Bad CGI Sharks t-shirts. They've been sharing that on their Twitter. Just go on Twitter and tweet out Shark Movie, and they will respond to you with the trailer, and you can catch up to them there. Anytime anyone says Shark Movie on Twitter, the Bad CGI Sharks team is there to remind them that they exist.
Yeah,
it's really quite admirable.
Yeah, the Dark Crystal was it was a very interesting experiment with Jim Henson. Kind of like wanted to break away from his reputation of like the Muppets and Sesame Street, and wanted to tell this like epic fantasy tale with like a deep lore. But it didn't really do very well in the box office. In fact, more people know more of Labyrinth than Dark Crystal.
Clearly.
Yes. Clearly, yes.
For reasons.
I want to give off a quick little.
Of 10-year-olds.
Should
I bring up the snitch again? Except that I'm going to kind of cover the wing. It's going to circle the ball.
But in terms of whether or not Bad CGI Sharks has come out yet, the first run of Blu-rays I think is supposed to be shipping in September. I can't quite remember. I'm not entirely certain. I think that they did have some showings at certain film show theaters kind of thing. Like, you show it at a film show, it technically counts as showing it at a theater for when did this release, according to IMDb.
Yeah.
But I pre-ordered the Blu-ray, so.
Yeah. One more thing to say about Dark Crystal before we move on. I just want to give a quick little plug. I know I'm a sellout, but my colleague, Cassine Gaines, actually wrote a book about Dark Crystal. It's called Dark Crystal, A Visual History, and it has a foreword by Lisa Henson. And it has like really amazing pictures and behind-the-scenes story about the movie. And a lot of the puppets you can actually see in the Museum of Modern Image, which is at Queens, New York, which I actually went to a few years ago, and it's an amazing museum. If you're a person who's into like film and cinema and anything like that, I would highly recommend that you go check it out. It has the puppets of Sesame Street. It has the puppets of Dark Crystal, Labyrinth. It has original costumes from there. It's wonderful pop culture memorabilia. Definitely highly recommended.
Evil 1976 has added. Did they mention that a few moments ago, but they are watching on their PS4 Pro in VR.
Wow. We're in the future.
Which means that it's like he's really sitting in a room with the three of us on a big virtual screen in front of him.
It's amazing. It's
I like VR. I think it does it well. I can understand if your TV's a bit on the smaller side, or if you just want to block out absolutely everything else. Yes.
Yeah. John Ratsey says, let's pray that the Dark Crystal doesn't go the route of the porno version of Planet of the Apes. Oh, no. It's actually
the
funny
Pan's
that
Crystal of the Dark Labyrinth. I'm still confused as to exactly where we are.
the Dark Labyrinth? Okay. We're done here.
God damn
Go on. You're on drugs.
Yeah.
I'm doing drugs!
But, it actually reminds me of that Robot Chicken skit in which they were trying to appeal Dark Crystal for a more mainstream audience, and they and they brought in T-Pain to voice to like do a rap number of like instead of the Dark Crystal, it's the Dark Crystal, which is like the drink that rappers and R&B and hip hop artists used to drink a lot in the 2000s, and it was hilarious and awful at the same time. Oh man, I hope we never get to that point in which we have to do something that pandering to attract people to that or to anything.
So, should we Twitter poll?
Yes,
Twitter poll.
Ah, yes.
It's that time.
First, Alia Tucker has just subscribed. Welcome. I believe that's a YouTube subscription there. It showed up with a pixel art zombie, and now a little demonetization symbol is scrolling across the top and dropping into the jar. That yellow $sign, just keep collecting them. That's YouTube. But, let us see. Where the hell did I put
We do it for the art.
I had it right here. Where did I put it? There it is. Okay. Live and wired poll. Found it.
Yay.
In the
competency.
Well, in the spirit of all kinds of horror crossovers and all kinds of horror stuff, and the stuff we're going to be talking about in a little, maybe, possibly with Dragon Ball stuff. I'm not certain. Maybe, if we get to it. But there's this thing called fusion. That's kind of important here. So,
yeah.
Live and wired poll. What two horror icons do you believe would fuse into the most badass horror monster slasher villain killer beast man in the universe? So many words. Choice the number one. We have Freddy and Jason, of course, or, as they are known combined, Vorhuger. We have It and Jaws becoming one to be the Great Pennywhite. We have Michael Myers and Candyman combining to create the ultimate Halloween candy corn. And finally, Ghostface and Ben from I Know What You Did Last Summer to create the slasher villain who knows what you found. What's your favorite scary movie? They know what your favorite scary movie was last summer. This is really hard to remember what that acronym means. IKWYFSMWLS. I know what your favorite scary movie was last summer. That guy.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it was before the cameras were rolling, and he told me that he got it right the first time, nailed it. And then
well, to be fair, at that point, I had written it like 2 minutes prior.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's on Twitter at DeckerShadow. 30 minutes starting now. Get over and vote. And I will be sharing the link out to the chat as soon as I figure out exactly what in the hell I'm doing.
Okay.
There we go. Sending that through Restream. Should be going to YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, and DLive.
Also, Decker, just because it occurred to me all of a sudden.
Should be. It just disappeared. There it is. Okay. Is it going or is it... there. It says it's gone. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yay. I have something to share with Decker real quick, though.
Okay.
Also sharing this out to Alfrika. Yes. Yes. You have two of them. Congratulations.
Just like everybody else.
Okay, I'm trying to share that out to DLive, and I'm having... Not DLive, to Alfrika TV, and I'm having a little bit of trouble, oddly.
Hmm.
Well, the chat doesn't seem to be chatting.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
It's failing in its purpose.
Yes. Oh, I think I have to actually have I have to be playing the stream at the time in order to chat. Okay, that means I might actually have to be playing the stream in order to see the chat too. That could explain a little bit. I'm sorry if anyone was actually watching on that. I mean, there's only like a 1 in 500 chance that anyone was, but sorry.
Yeah, so we need to play this. We need to play the stream. So everybody, grab your controllers, and you. Okay, you can't. Okay, then. That was weird.
Yes.
That was very weird.
Oh, Anthony Hudak is saying the Tall Man and Pennywise. Tall Man from Phantasm.
The tall clown.
Pennytasm.
I'm just thinking, like, what you would have to have the silver ball, the little cerebral bore, but what would that be like if it's got like it powers in it?
You get hit with a ball, and then you hallucinate your worst fear.
Could be that. Just you spending a nice little summer just playing little league. They pitch the ball. You go to hit it. You hit the ball, and then it stops midair, turns into a silver ball, and starts chasing you around the whole damn thing. You're like, ah! And you're just running and screaming into the outfield. And then you wake up and turn around, and everyone's like, "What the hell is wrong with you? You're out already. Stop running. You're just ruining the game." And then later in Act 3, you find out they knew all along, those bastards!
Mm-hmm.
Oy. Having a little too much fun with that.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm just going to go over to our next bit of news. This one was actually announced a few weeks ago, and with all the remakes that are coming out nowadays, I didn't think that this was going to happen. I mean, I knew eventually, but not done by this person. So we have He-Man anime by Kevin Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. So I know that She-Ra is like really popular on Netflix. And I knew eventually there was going to be like He-Man reboot, because the last time that we did have a He-Man series was back in 2002 on Cartoon Network that pretty much nobody watched. I remember when it did come out, everybody was hating on it because there were it's a stereotypical, oh, it's nothing like the original. The same thing happened for the 2011 Thundercats, in which they were complaining for the exact same reason. So now we got a second chance, and this time it's it's called Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Well, that fills me with confidence.
All right, so okay, here we go. According to Netflix's press release, Masters of the Universe Revelation will be a new series picking up from where the original 80s animated series left off. Not the 90s one where they went into space. We're going to forget about that. Resolving these older storylines, the series is being produced by Mattel Television with Rob David, Vice President of Mattel TV, and author of He-Man The Eternity War, serving as an executive producer of the Smith will serve as the showrunner and executive producer and feature Eric Carasso, Supergirl, Tim Sheridan, Reign of the Supermen, Daya Mishra, Magic the Gathering, and Mark Bernardin, Alphas as writers. The series will be animated by Powerhouse Animation, the studio behind the new Castlevania series. We know it's going to look really good. There were rumblings that Kevin Smith was working on a nostalgic IP ever since he announced he was involved with one, but was coy to what that actually was. But Smith had to say this about the series' official. I'm eternally. That was awful.
Thank you.
Well, he's still Kevin Smith.
True. That's true. I'm eternally grateful to Mattel TV and Netflix for entrusting me with not only the secrets of Grayskull, but also their entire universe. In Revelation, we up right where the classic era left off to tell an epic tale of what might be the final battle between He-Man and Skeletor, brought to life with the most metal character designs powerhouse animation can contain in the frame. This is the Master of the Universe story you've always wanted to see as a kid. So yeah, I mean, we know that Kevin Smith is really into comic books and superheroes and all that stuff. He has the Smodcast podcast and the Fat Man on Batman podcast.
Right.
So we know how much of a huge pop culture nerd he is. And he even has his like own TV series at one point.
Goddamn Jake Shuster say, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power, Snoochie Boochies. You're saying that, oh yeah, we're talking about drugs. Obviously, Kevin Smith was going to come up.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Darth Necrosis says they just literally face-palmed. Eternally grateful.
Wow.
Oh boy.
I will never. That will never cease to amaze me. Eternally grateful. Let's just, I mean, I'm not going to say anything yet until I see a trailer. Like, even with the announcements, I usually like to wait for a trailer to come out, or maybe like some concept art or something like that, so I can.
I'm still confused by all of these cartoons that everyone was supposed to have seen as a kid that I never saw any of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just saying, I kind of went from Eureka's Castle to The Simpsons. That was my transition, right?
Nice transition.
And Jerry Springer, mustn't forget that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I know that a lot of people, and don't forget about the Thundercats is actually being remade as well to Thundercats Roar, and man, people threw a shit fit with that one.
The real Mullen says, "I'm eternally dead on the inside." Oh boy.
Right, we're gonna be seeing a whole bunch of people in the chat just mention that. Thank you, Kevin Smith.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't heard anything from Thundercats Roar ever since, so that's actually going to be interesting, because I remember that, He-Man and Thundercats were kind of in battle with each other about like which one was like the manliest 80s cartoon featuring somebody with a sword. So is it the power of Grayskull or the power of what was the sword's name in Thundercats again?
The Sword Omens.
Thank you. That one. Yeah, so which was badass villain, Skeletor, Mum, even though they were both goofy, admittedly. And
I'd say Skeletor wins.
Yeah, Skeletor wins. Yeah, for sure.
Actually, I think Mum Ra of the two is the more intimidating villain.
Yeah, but do you really want that in a villain?
You can't deny Skeletor, though.
No, I'm not saying I did enjoy Skeletor, but I felt like Mum Ra, even though he lost a lot, he seemed like he was more on the ball. Like Skeletor it seemed like the kind of guy who didn't have so much of a plan as he had half a concept, and he just ran with it, and so each time it inevitably he would hit a wall, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
In the case of Mum Ra, he was more like, Mum Ra was like, okay, I lost, but this is really only a minor setback, because as we all know, Mum Ra lives. And then he would just slide backwards into its sarcophagus again. Mum Ra lives! Remember, Mum Ra lives.
Yes.
Oh.
Anyway, so again, I'm not going to.
And Dizzy Jackal says Mum Ra is the same as Vegeta.
Oh.
Ow! Oh, wash your mouth out with soap and water.
I don't know enough about Mumra. All I know is I've been watching a good amount of Dragon Ball, and I'm at the part where Majin Buu just killed the shit out of Babidi.
Ah.
So, but I'm like, Vegeta's dead right now where I'm at. But it's funny to me because everyone was all sad about this, and they're also shocked that he happened to kill all those spectators at the tournament. It's like, oh, why would he do this? And I'm thinking, like, I've been watching up to this point, like, Vegeta never turned good. His last order of business was still destroy the Earth. He's just been really distracted all this time.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm a distraction.
Yeah, he turned evil-er at that point, but he was never good.
That's very true. He does have a point. Very true.
Oddly enough, that was my reaction when first time I saw that episode.
How could he? It's Vegeta. Come on, you should know this.
All right, so let's go over to our next bit of news. So, let's see. Oh, a lot of people have actually been asking us in the chat about what are our thoughts on this, and I thought that it would be appropriate for Creepy to talk about this, since just not too long ago, he did an episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series. So, yes, for those who had not heard, I'm sorry to say this, but Disney and Sony's standoff ends with Studios and Kevin Feige Spider-Man. So, sadly, Spider-Man will no longer be a part of the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
That sucks, by the way.
Updated at 8:55 p.m. Okay, I don't need to read that.
Yeah, you don't need to read that.
Sony Pictures spent much of yesterday putting its perspective on the prospective loss of Kevin
Feige.
And I just fine from
Feige.
the future. So what?
Feige.
My bad. Kevin Feige from future Spider-Man films. First, the studio downplayed the idea he might be leaving. Then insiders pinned his
Orcat Warrior 98 says nowadays he's a Sundari, I believe, talking about Vegeta. And I was getting that kind of vibe from him immediately as soon as he and Bulma were, like, talking to each other. And Vegeta's there just like, What? Don't say such things! I'm a warrior, not a variety of flower! Okay, continue.
I am the Prince of all Saiyans. I will not take you to the carnival.
Pretty much.
That'll play later.
Mm-hmm. First, the studio downplayed the idea he might be. Then, pinned his exit on additional responsibilities from the Fox acquisition of the X-Men franchise, though they declined to make a statement. All this was reflected as factors in Deadline's break of an important and widely regurgitated story, but sources maintain that Feige's exit was about money. It was about Disney seeing the 50-50 something that is way too blurry. Stake. Sources have said the original Disney ask was more reasonable, as the price for Marvel and Feige's continued guiding hand that resulted in the delivery of Sony's biggest grossing film ever. Sony declined to meet those terms or even counter with anything worth considering. It was an aggressive stance by Disney, which already owns the merchandise on Spider-Man, and a tough nut for Sony to swallow, giving up half of its most valuable franchise. But these talks had been going on for some time. Had Sony agreed to Disney's ask, Marvel and Feige would not have withdrawn from the Spider-Man film, sources said. Sony issued a statement late in the evening, not denying anything Deadline revealed yesterday, but reiterating its stance that Feige was too busy. Deadline stands squarely behind its reporting. How important is Feige to the future of this franchise? We'll find out down the line. Sony is planning 2 more installments, though it's an open question whether those 2 will include John Watts, director of the first 2 films, guided creatively by Feige. Watts isn't signed on for the next film and isn't a certainty to be back, as he is being heavily courted for other jobs. Could Sony find itself vying against Marvel for Watts' future services as director? Here is Sony's latest evening statement. Much of today's news about Spider-Man has mischaracterized recent discussions about Kevin Feige's involvement in the franchise. We are disappointed but respect Disney's decision to not have him continue as a lead producer of our next live-action Spider-Man film. A Sony spokesperson said, "We hope this might change in the future, but understand that the many new responsibilities that Disney has given him, including their newly added Marvel properties, does not allow him time to work on IP they do not own. Kevin is terrific, and we are grateful for his help and guidance and appreciate the path he has helped put us on, which we will continue."
That's just the previous exclusive. That this is the up stuff, so that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's really disappointing to hear about this because I thought that we were, going pretty good with the Spider-Man films, because I actually read a tweet about this the other day that 5 films as of when the first half of 2019, like ending around June or July, 5 movies reached $1 billion, and they were all from Disney. There was the live action Aladdin movie, the live action Lion King movie. There was Toy Story 4, and then there was Spider-Man Far From Home, which is now the highest grossing Spider-Man movie ever at $1 billion. Yeah.
But,
and if you're wondering what the lowest grossing Spider-Man movie is, it is sadly Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse. Even though I know, it sucks. And that movie won an Oscar. And nobody thought that was going to win an Oscar. I actually saw somebody tweet saying, "Oh, and it's inevitable that Disney's you don't even count on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse winning," and then boom, it won. I actually saw a picture of somebody from like a Walmart display that said Wreck-It Ralph escaped Wreck-It Ralph escaped to the internet or something like that, and it said Oscar winning, and then they had to take it down the next day because it didn't win.
Oops. But the whole thing with Disney and Sony and Spider-Man and the MCU, it's a whole lot of things going on. A lot of people angry on all sides talking about, it's this company's fault, that company's fault. We want Spider-Man in the MCU, but Sony fucked everything up for everyone, or Disney got greedy, or Sony got greedy. And from what I understand, the situation was pretty much that the crossover films with Spider-Man in the MCU, Sony owns Spider-Man pretty much.
Yeah,
but
they do.
They didn't get any kind of real cut of that.
They barely got anything. They didn't even get anything.
So Disney's new deal for them was, hey, you still get barely anything from that, but Spider-Man gets to stay partnered with us for our big MCU movies, and you, when you make your own little movies, now you actually have to give us half of what you make.
Yeah.
And so it's it was kind of a Channel Awesome deal. So, so it's really? So it's not good all around, but also it's really ironic because if a certain company had not spent the better part of the last century lobbying the government to perpetually extend and extend and extend the length of copyright, Spider-Man would have been public domain by now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whoops!
Oh, well.
Oh, that silly company. Huh.
Although saying that Sony and Disney got greedy, implies before.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but so to conclude it sucks. But I wish the best of luck for Tom Holland, and I hope that he used to do well, whatever he's doing. But
I'm hopeful in the future for there to be more Spider-Man movies, for them to do well, for Spider-Man to be able to be back in the MCU and do the big crossover things, and I hope that they can come to an agreement that doesn't fuck anybody over. Just a thing.
Yeah.
And just let's
I think
you have billions of dollars. You can spare $10 here and there.
That's true. So how are you with that poll?
Oh, let us see. We have 9 minutes left.
All right. Well, speaking of Sony getting greedy, I guess we could go to our next bit of news. So Sony just recently purchased the video game company Insomniac, which is actually kind of surprising since most of the games that Insomniac did do was exclusively for PlayStation.
Yeah,
I mean, with the exception of a few other.
There's the talk like, oh, this changes everything, and I'm thinking, kind of at best changes nothing, doesn't it?
Oh wait, wrong button. There we go. I mean, I guess that's, they did do what you call it, Sunset. They did release a game for the Xbox 360, but I guess they won't be able to do
the
that
Xbox
anymore.
One was Sunset Overdrive.
That's what it was, Xbox One, right? Sunset Overdrive. They did release Xbox One, but now, sadly, if they ever do Sunset Overdrive 2, then it won't be out for the Xbox One. So.
Maybe, I don't know. It's just game companies are like, screw it, whatever at this point. Except for Nintendo, they're like, you still owe us money for using songs from Paper Mario in your YouTube video.
Very true. All right, it's your turn, Decker.
Sony Interactive Entertainment has officially revealed that it has acquired Insomniac Games, the developer behind the instant black screen classic Marvel's Spider-Man for PlayStation 4, in addition to titles like Ratchet & Clank, Spyro the Dragon, and Resistance. The news of the acquisition was announced ahead of Gamescom 2019, the largest video gaming convention in Europe. Insomniac Games is one of the most highly acclaimed development studios in the industry, and their legacy of best-in-class storytelling and gameplay is unparalleled. Sean Layden, chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios, said as part of the press release announcing the acquisition, "We have enjoyed a strong collaborative black screen partnership with the studio for many years, and are thrilled to officially welcome them to the Worldwide Studios family. The addition of Insomniac Games to SIEWS reiterates our commitment to developing world-class gaming experiences that can only be found on the PlayStation platform. Joining the Woos family gives Insomniac greater opportunities to achieve our studio vision of making positive and lasting impressions on people's lives." Okay, that's one way to describe decent games, I guess. Ted Price, Insomniac Games founder and CEO, added, "We've enjoyed a special relationship with PlayStation practically since our inception. Our partnership amplifies our potential, and Marvel's Spider-Man was a testament to this. We're excited to take the next step in growth alongside our longtime Woos partners. Most of all, we look forward to delivering fresh, new experiences for our fans." The decision to join forces with Sony extends far beyond familiarity, Price said in an official statement posted on Insomniac Games' website. "Our studio vision to create experiences that have a positive and lasting impact on people's lives, and possibly give them what's the word I'm looking for here?
Having trouble with words?
Yeah, epilepsy, there we go. As we look ahead to our future, we know that joining the Woos family gives us the best opportunities to fully achieve that vision on a much larger scale. Further, we believe that Sony shares a similar vision to positively impact players' lives, their employees' lives, and the game industry at large." I'm sorry, just hearing that Sony is just their big thing they wake up to try and do every day is just make people's lives better.
Well, it's actually funny that you mentioned that because I heard that there were a lot of videos from the Insomniac intern guy who actually worked at Insomniac, and he would pose as a character who would like play guitar and showcase on how fun Insomniac was. Like they would have like a basketball court. They had like this elaborate lunchroom. They would have time to play video games outside of designing their own. It looked like a really fun place to hang around with. And this was when they were just starting to become really popular. There were just like a handful of people. This was before they opened up their other company, and I want to say maybe around one of the Carolinas. I'm not sure if I don't remember, but yeah, this was when they were like a really small company, and they kind of saw each other as like a little family. And It's actually interesting about like how far this will go. They've been expanded since then, and now they're being purchased by a massive company like.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's the end of the article there. It's like, what do you think of the acquisition news? I'm like, I was talking about what I think of it already. Thank you. But okay.
Yeah.
All
right. I think that's pretty much it. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna exit out there.
But,
so
yeah.
only time will tell about what will happen. But I know one thing for sure. I don't think we're going to be seeing another Ratchet and Clank movie soon, considering how poorly the first one did.
Matanu is asking, why is it cutting to black every so often? I think that is just general connection issues. We're doing this all over Discord, so...
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry, everyone.
Okay.
Alright, so...
okay, Food on Twitch says, don't get me started on 2K20! Sorry.
Okay.
Lost my cool. I just really hate surprise mechanics. That are quite ethical. Oh boy.
Sure. Alright, so I'm just gonna pull up the next bit of news. I actually want to talk about this because two things happened over the past there was Gamescom, and there was another one. I'll discuss about the other one later. But first is Gamescom, and they released and revealed a whole bunch of information about upcoming games and consoles. And this is one we've actually been talking about for quite a while. The Intellivision Amiko, and they actually revealed a trailer to it that Tommy Tallarico discussed about. Featuring family-friendly games and how gaming for a long time has become too hardcore. They want to cater toward the gaming market that are more casual. And I'm just going to read this article really quick. It's a quick one, but I would recommend check out the trailer just so you can understand what I'm talking about.
The fuck?
And television's...
I'm sorry.
Anyway, Intellivision's new family-friendly console seems like a bit of an oddball in today's market, but it hopes to offer some good, clean fun and possibly fill a hidden niche in the market. We can't argue that premise. During Gamescom, Intellivision dropped a new trailer for the system that offered an incredibly brief look at some of the games headed to the system. Nothing as big as Earthworm Jim yet, which... Yes, there's going to be a new Earthworm Jim game, and it'll be released exclusively for the Intellivision Amiko. But many of these exclusives look like updates to arcade classics that will never go out of fashion. So yes, pretty much if you see the trailer, it is essentially updated versions of classic arcade games. And and he was talking about how, gaming has strayed very far away, that they're really complex, and some gamers, are very casual. In fact, they reached a majority of society. And, these games right here are catering to the people who want to go back to the old days of playing simple games that are very easy to understand. It kind of sounds like the pitch for the Nintendo Wii, in which we need to get people who are not gamers to play along with these games, and it worked out very well.
Back in the good old days, where I just hung around the arcade with my friends, playing Pong and picking on those jocks.
Yes. I'm actually curious to see how this will turn out. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a huge flop that'll just become like a footnote into game consoles that came out in recent years, saying like, that existed.
Oh yeah,
probably. Like, oh yes, the Orba.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Brandon Kilgore says sounds sort of like the Ouya and the Atari box.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did mention the Atari box a while. What happened to that game console since then? Has it been released yet?
Maybe. I have no idea.
I haven't heard anything about it since then. That was over a year ago that we talked. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. So yeah, the Amiko will be coming out really soon, as shown in the trailer, and yeah, catering toward the casual demographic of classic arcade games. With the only exclusive game that I did see that really interested a lot of people was that there's going to be a Jim game. So that's pretty much it.
Earthworm Jim?
Yeah, the new Earthworm Jim game that's going to be released exclusively for that console.
Oh yeah, wasn't that the one where he was talking about his 600 100 years of video game experience.
Yes.
Oh, that
Yes,
was...
we
if we could
that
find
was
anything else that man has said, I want to read it so bad.
I'll next time we do this, I need to find that.
It's so enthusiastic. Also, the poll appears to have just... Oh, it says 1 minute left now. Negative 1 minute left? What? Are you done or not? Are you still going?
It's on Decker time.
Negative 1 minute left. Final results. There, that's what I thought. You son of a
Okay.
Okay.
Negative
Like
1
I said,
minute.
it's on Decker time.
Anyway, final results, 64 votes. And going from least to most, the lowest one to be the most badass horror monster slasher villain killer beast man in the evers was Ghostface Cross Ben for I Know What Your Favorite Scary Movie Was Last Summer. And there's a comment asking, who the hell's Ben? That was the guy, he had a raincoat and a hook. His name's Ben. It's not very memorable, I know. They did a really dumb thing with the naming conventions of the sequel as well.
Right.
Oh, you should have seen it coming. It was just stupid. But anyway, coming in at 16% in third place, interestingly enough, was It Crossed with Jaws for the Great Pennywhite. That was
actually
only
really
third
clever.
place, but it was very close. 17% went for Myers / Candyman for Candy Corn. Which means, coming in at number one, which probably saw coming from the fact that I put at the top of the list and I did that whole summer special, Freddy Cross with Jason for Krueger. And Kat says, does anyone minus me think the fusion of Freddy and Jason sounds like a German prostitute? Specializes in oral stuff. Decker, I'm sorry about your monetization if I read this out loud. It's okay, we weren't getting it anyway. That's what that's for. John Rapsey says I would also throw out Leprechaun and Chucky.
Oh, wow. That would be all sorts of craziness.
And Brantley A. Heaton says, wouldn't that basically be a more eloquent version of Stripe from Gremlins? Jaden Goldbrunson says they say Slenderman crossed with Tall Man. So, tall and skinny guy.
Yeah, just that.
Lanky man.
Lanky man. Spindle shank.
And off topic a bit, but Derek Baird dropped the trailer saying, who's Ben? Also, Decker, just a small suggestion for a horror movie y'all never see coming. And he only thinks we never see it coming if he hasn't watched Live and Wired before now. There's a trailer that has dropped for the Banana Splits.
Which we actually did talk about a few times in Live and
Yeah,
Wired.
but I didn't see that trailer. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Trailer for it. And it's got the little dog thing, and he's got like his face half off, and it's got Terminator eye going on. Like,
yeah,
I'm so cute, and I'm gonna fuck you up.
And it's still a massive debate on that was the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, the original for Scott Cawthon scrapped it. So your guess is as good as ours. All right. So yeah, thanks for voting at polls, everyone. Now let's go over to some ridiculous news that I never thought I'd be reading loud to ever.
Oh yeah, we're demonetized here. I'm gonna see about putting in for yeah. Let me go into the option, you son of a request review. Thank you. Yeah, I have double checked that my video satisfied YouTube review for advertising.
Okay, so we're not going to.
I'm sure. I mean, we're like halfway into the video, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to go and start streaming like grotesque and shocking things all of a sudden. I mean, are we? I mean, the episode would be awesome if we would, but
no, we're actually going to start off with something real, like just I never thought that I would actually find this.
Oh, Orcat War 98 says that the movie is out and it's bad.
Oh, really? Well, I mean, at this point, I'm not surprised. I mean, you're essentially taking a kid's show from the 70s and turning it into akin to Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, creepy. This is actually something really hilarious. So, Hasbro owns a lot of things. They own Mr. Potato Head. They own Battleship. They own Transformers. They own My Little Pony. They own everything. It's essentially the Sony of toys. But would you believe that they also own Tupac, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre? Yes, they do actually. Because just recently, Death Row Records is now owned by Hasbro. Yes, this is a thing. The same. I mean, way to branch out, I have to say. So the same company that owns My Little Pony now owns Tupac. Wow.
Are they going to have a little crossover there? Is one?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Is PewDiePie going to get PewDiePie? Not PewDiePie. Pinkie Pie. Damn it. PewDiePie's already been PewDiePie. I know it. There's no other explanation.
Yeah. We're in the next Transformers movie. It's going to star Snoop Dogg.
Well, I mean, he has starred in a lot of commercials in the 2000s, so I mean,
yeah. So,
can't we just go back to Busta Rhymes selling me Mountain Dew?
Yeah, let's go back to the good old days. All right, so go ahead.
Just in case you thought their 2019 couldn't get any weirder, the toy company Hasbro, who's responsible for classic toys such as Mr. Potato Head, Monopoly, and more, is now the owners of the Death Row catalog. Yes, you read that correctly. The toy company now owns the catalog that consists of records from Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Tupac, and many others. Records that have sold millions upon millions. It's strange to think about Hasbro, who is synonymous with childhood innocence, now is in possession of one of the most gangster labels in the history of music.
Oh my god, it owns Peppa Pig.
Oh,
Next
God.
episode of Peppa Pig. I want to see Dr. Dre and Peppa Pig. That. Oh my god, no.
I'm asking in all seriousness now. 2 Live Crew a part of Death Records?
I mean, not even Twitch Sings has this stuff. I checked. They don't got Dr. Dre. They don't got anything that I actually know. Dang it.
No, I'm asking seriously. Was 2 Live Crew a part of Death Row Records?
Let me look it up. Actually, how do you spell that? Is it like the number?
Number
or,
2. Yeah, number
course.
2, Live, and then Crew.
Like, of course. It's like, you know how this works.
Yeah. Oh, and they were on the 80s. Of course it was. I mean, we had a decade in which we had X's and, Q's and everything was misspelled.
Right.
Southern Yankee saying My Little Pony singing fuck the police.
No, they're not owned by
Darth the Croce said they'd buy a Mr. Potato Head if it was a Snoop Dogg version. You could change out the eyes for the stoned eyes.
There was a reason why I was asking.
Yeah, they are not owned by
And the reason why is that if Hasbro had bought 2 Live Crew's discography, its catalog, then that meant that that Hasbro was now in possession of Me So Horny.
Oh my god.
Oh, Me So Horny. Damn it. Now it's going to be stuck in my head for the next 2 minutes.
I'm actually going to read off some of the members that they have. So let me see. We have...
That's true. Brandon Kilgore mentions MC Hammer was one of them for a time.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
That's true.
Let's see. We have Danny Boy, Daz Dillon, Crooked Eye, Above the Law, J-Flex, K Solo, Bow Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Remember when he was Little Bow Wow?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he was... it was like a competition between Little Romeo. Which of the little was going to be up there?
Right, Little Romeo and Little Bow Wow.
Yeah, and the spelling was Lil. So, because, spelling. Yeah, MC Hammer is one of them. Nate Dogg, The Outlaws, PD Pablo, Prince Atal Joe, The Realist, RBX, Superfly. Yes, Superfly.
Food says, them buying Power Rangers made sense. It lined up with their kid-friendly MO. Tupac does not. What even is real life right now?
All right. What more can we say about this? Next thing you know, that the same Def Jam is going to be owned by Mattel.
You know how these companies are always trying to one-up one another, so that's a possibility.
I still remember a Def Jam fight for New York. That was good times.
Yeah, I remember that.
Of course, if Def Jam gets... Okay, we could, in theory, have an episode of My Little Pony, the new series, where they are all singing Salt and Peppa's Let's Talk About Sex. They're always inserting morals into their shows, into each episode, so why not?
Let's talk about sex for the people at home or in the crowd. He's coming up anyhow. No.
I just continue to conceive things.
Like the gambler on Twitch says, childhood. Hasbro, I'm on drugs!
Also, again, a possibility. But yeah,
at this point,
childhood.
Yeah.
Brandon Kilgore says Ice-T singing Cop Killer with Gem.
This is what's gonna happen. With My Little Pony being over, because they're airing the last season, we're going to have an animated series featuring all of these characters, and they're going through wacky situations.
Oh, that would be... I don't know if I want this or not.
We already had an MC Hammer animated series back, so maybe this will be...
But he was a superhero. It made sense.
Everybody's gonna be a superhero. Snoop Dogg's gonna be a superhero.
Death Row is just the new Justice League.
Yes.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg turns into a dog. Dr. Dre is like the healer.
Dr. Dre is like Dr. Strange.
Tupac is like the disembodied ghost who kind of like gives wisdom to everybody.
Okay.
In addition to Lisa Left Eye Lopez.
Right. Whose superpower is that she shoots a laser out of her left eye.
Cat says Snoop Dogg singing with Peppa Pig, and no one knows if it's legit or not.
Oh, but is it too legit to quit? I don't think anybody got that. Never mind.
Okay, we're done here. My God. How can we top this?
Now, Orc at War 98 says, I think everyone is on drugs!
Okay. Legit this time. Subject, because my God.
We need a legitimate, serious subject instead of...
Okay. I did promise the guy who had the Rambo username that we were going to talk about Rambo Last Blood, so let's talk about it. So let me just find the article about that. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, the final trailer of Rambo Last Blood was just revealed not too long ago, and should be coming out relatively soon. Hello,
it's okay,
Tara.
It's a pop filter. She's just like, no, I is not your toy. I'm a living being. Let me free.
All right.
I also got a $1.99 from Motorcycle US saying, so Soundwave will be playing California Lovin'.
I don't know anything anymore. Snoop Dogg with Thomas the Tank Engine. I don't think the Tank Engine is owned by...
Tara, you're covered in fuzz. So Stallone is back in a new Rambo Last Blood trailer. Back. Stallone is back. Okay. With the release of Rambo Last Blood still months away, Lionsgate Sly's Instagram has the resolution is like, Tara, you standing in front of the monitor does not help. It's asshole. Okay. Has released a new trailer for the fifth and final film, in Sylvester Stallone action saga. Check out the Last Blood trailer in the player below. Next movie is going to be Rambo Transfusion, okay? Rambo Last Blood finds John Rambo coping with intense PTSD while living in a ranch in Arizona, trying to pick up casual work wherever he can. Soon, his friend and estate manager, Maria, informs him that her granddaughter went missing after crossing into Mexico for a party. So John travels south of the border to find the youngster. The quest quickly turns into a violent descent into hell as Rambo uncovers a sex trafficking ring. Teaming up with a journalist whose half-sister has also been kidnapped, Rambo has to deploy all his skills to save the girls and bring down a vicious crime lord. It's a good thing I already pretty much knew what was going on because I can't barely read that. The film is directed by
Adrian Grunberg.
Okay, with
Matt Cerulnik.
And Stallone writing the screenplay for Rambo Last Blood, which Ari Leonard and Kevin King will produce.
Yeah, Kevin King.
Okay. Millennium was previously planning a Rambo reboot movie with an Israeli Helmer Ariel Vraman, the Iceman criminal, behind the camera, and Brox McLean pen-firing the script with the aim. God, I can't read this.
I'll read it. Hold on. Let me just increase this. Is this
okay. Okay. Penning the script with the aim of recasting.
I guess I forgot to mention that my laptop has a touch screen. So.
Oh, that helps. Recasting the role created by David Morrell's 1972 novel First Blood and popularized in the 4-film starring Sylvester Stallone. There were also plans for a proposed Rambo New Blood TV series at Fox that were also abandoned. Despite Stallone stating in 2016 that he was too old to take on that part again, the plan for the 71-year-old actor to reprise the role one more time. Stallone
yeah, right. Like, Sylvester Stallone saying he's too old to play a part, that's laughable. It's like, how many times has he said this? That's like
I think he's been saying it for the last 20 years.
Yeah. That's like the equivalent of Miyazaki saying, I'm going to retire. And then he's up with it, and he's, like, working on his next movie.
Food is asking, is this going to be as unpleasant as the last film? Oh, joy. And I'm thinking, yes, probably, at least that. But also because I was already prepped by the last film and kind of know what I'm getting into, I don't mind it as much. Oh, it's just me. Stallone last played the role of John Rambo in 2008's Rambo, which earned $113.2 million worldwide on a $50 million budget. He also wrote and directed that film. Last Blood is scheduled for release on September 20th. Alright.
Yay.
Alright. Now they're talking about planned TV show with Fox that evidently got canned at some point. Which is making me wonder about the whole thing of things being canned.
Right.
Because there was that time, last episode, where we were talking about that whole big list of stuff from Fox that got canned after Disney was like, you know what, fuck you.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
And there was the one thing that came up. Return of the Killer Clowns from Outer Space in 3D.
Yeah,
where that was listed, and I was like, hold the fuck up. That's MGM, number one, isn't it? Number two, what the hell? I haven't heard anything about this, and I do have a couple of people that I know. And I figured, may as well send a message and see what I get. And I sent a message. And I got something back. Mostly he said, stop calling here, but beside that. It didn't say that.
Okay.
They said, for now, I would ignore that inaccuracy. That is my official statement.
Okay.
Nah.
So not much to go on, but that's the official statement from them.
All right. Well, that's good to hear.
So,
but sadly, the Plato movie, the Flash Gordon movie, the hundreds of movies that would have happened have been canceled. So, sorry.
Yep.
Although the Plato movie sounded like really easy. And
none of us were really crying or losing sleep over the fact that we weren't going to get the Play-Doh movie.
No, I was losing. I actually lost sleep because I was laughing too hard. I couldn't get to sleep.
I actually think, as far as genuine emotion, like an actual sense of disappointment, we were more broken up over the list of movies that Guillermo del Toro was wanting to make, but said that he wasn't going. He didn't think he'd be able to. We were more genuinely broken up that than they were of the list of things that got canceled on Fox.
Demon Orc is saying he's surprised that Stallone hasn't tried to sell his shit for hundreds of dollars, and I'm wondering if he means his things, because he technically did that to make Rocky, or if he means his actual fecal matter. Because I'm just imagining these little jars of Hollywood guy poop.
Ew.
So, you know it. Don't deny it. You know it. Somebody on eBay would buy that.
I don't think you're allowed to sell that on eBay. Human refuse, human remains.
I mean, to be fair, a few years ago, somebody did.
Demon Orc is specifying, no, his literal shit. Okay.
Somebody did buy a lock of Justin Bieber hair for like $50,000 or $100,000 or something like that a few years ago. But I don't think you could do that today.
John Washburn also is mentioning it's pronounced Guillermo.
Guillermo, yeah.
And Kat's mentioning, Gamer Girl Water was a thing.
And there's multiple ways of pronouncing the name. Another Guillermo, which is actually my dad's middle name.
Food says, thanks for that image, Decker. Welcome.
Only here on Live and Wired.
Pretty much. But he talked about all these different movies that he wanted to make, but he didn't think he'd be able to. And we were all just, wow, there are so many films on here that I want to see. Whereas we got to the list of things that were canceled by, that had to be canceled by Fox, and half of them we were just laughing hysterically because we were like, who would watch this in the first place?
It's like a good amount of them were like, oh, that sounds awesome. Why would you cancel that? Why would you cancel that? And like, wait a minute, this got to production? What?
Yeah.
Who? I got some good-ass drugs out in Hollywood.
The Plato movie was one that we just bursted out laughing the most. Like, really, they wanted to make
that seemed like the one that we had the most fun. Just
though I wouldn't mind a decent claymation movie.
No. But we knew that it was cashing in on the Lego movies.
Well, obviously it was good. It was going to be a cash grab kind of thing, and
a movie that used the claymation technique.
I don't know if they even would, because the Lego movie looks like it's stop motion, but it's actually CGI. That's just they do the animation in a way that's closer to what you would expect out of stop motion.
Right.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, every single piece that you would see on the Lego movie is actual Lego brick, so that if anybody wanted to recreate it, they actually could.
Yeah, right. They don't do any kind of cheating there.
No.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like how in Shrek, the original Shrek, one of the things they set out to do when directing that movie was they weren't going to do any impossible camera angles. It's like, yes, we have a movie made in computer graphics, but we want it to look cinematic, so we're going to only have the camera angles be places that they could logically, physically fit.
Yeah.
And I think they threw that away in the sequels, but
yeah, Shrek went through a lot of, concepts that they eventually scrapped. Like, it was going to be part 2D animation, part stop motion, and then they decided to go for CGI, and Chris Farley was going to be Shrek. So they went through a lot of stuff. The Mega Man movie was actually one that I was genuinely surprised that they were actually going to do.
Okay.
If you remember, that was one of the movies that was scrapped.
Motorcycle US dropped $2 and said, Decker, how come not done Ginger Snaps movies? And I said, I don't think Jackie Chan's in any of them.
Oh, you know what? I just remembered.
He is?
The other... No. I was gonna say the other one that we just laughed loud and we found out that it was actually gonna be a movie besides the Play-Doh movie was the Sims movie. Remember?
Oh,
that was it too. Yeah.
We were laughing. It's like, are they just gonna talk like Simlish the entire time? Zorikum, Demoid, Dekite, Ginger.
I haven't played a Sims game since like Sims 2, so I'm not even good on my Simlish.
Yeah.
I remember the... What was it? Damn it, I just spaced. Oh, yeah, you were saying, you asked if Jackie Chan was in it, and I was like, okay, the idea of Jackie Chan fighting werewolves is something that needs to happen.
I mean, yeah. If we had, I'm pretty sure I would have found that if we had that. Oh well, I got the final 3 of the summer of Jackie Chan coming up.
Oh, good.
So after the summer, can you do Hatchet 2? That's a good idea because Hatchet is a series that I started and then I didn't do anything else with. And that's got the man, the legend, Kane Hodder. And I remember when I was at Dark Delicacies with Mr. Masari. There was a poster of Hatchet signed by like all the peoples. And I'm there standing next to John Masari, and I'm just like looking for Kane Hodder's signature on the book. That's just a memory I hold.
It's up there alongside you watching Tommy Chong attack a cursed hookah with a chainsaw.
Oh,
and he brought me there because that's what the signing was going to be, and he figured, hey, if I'm going to be filming it, I better know the layout and what's going to be going on. We better have everything squared away. And I'm like, ooh, John.
All right, so let's go over to our next bit of news. This is one that I have to just marvel at because this is another bit of news. It's like, really, they're actually doing so. I'm sure that you guys know about Big Rigs, right? Has been cited as one of the worst video games of all time. Because
I'm already like, because I saw this on the news sheet.
Yeah. So you would think that after just one game... Yes.
Oh, she's already hiding under the bed.
She's smart. All right. So, Big Rigs is getting a PC remaster in 2020.
No.
Big Rigs over the road racing. Thanks, James Rolfe.
Oh my god. So, yeah, basically the game that has been cited time, the worst PC racing game of all time, is getting a remaster in 2020. This reminds me of the Shaq Fu Kickstarter all over again. All right. I think it's my turn to read. Now, here's something that came out of nowhere. Big Rigs Over-the-Road Racing is often described as the PC racing game ever made. And today, Stellar Stone Development announced they're working on a remaster for the PC that'll come out in 2020.
Is it just going to be like a resolution update and they leave everything the same? Can it be on Switch? Can I have gyro controls? I'll get it in a heartbeat if that's the case.
In order to celebrate this announcement, the team has already released a new... The trailer is in 480p. Great! So I can assume that it will not support 720 or 1080p, or that the trailer is as old school as you can get. Seriously, the trailer is hilarious and even features a typo. Instead of May 2020, it lists as May 2019 release for the PC. So basically, the game is already out, despite the fact that the trailer has been released. Yeah. Oh, God. Okay. The good news is that the Stellar Stone development will not fix any of the... Wait, what?
That's good news?
What's the point of a remaster if they're not going to fix the game's issue?
So you can still just reverse into the speed of light? Because there's no limit on the speed when you're going backwards. Just keep accelerating.
Okay, continue. This remaster is for all those that want to experience hardware. As such, I wonder whether the game will feature new bug glitches specifically created for the remastered version. The official Twitter account also claims that due to the console's technical limitations, Big Rigs Remastered will release exclusively on technical limitations? What technical limitations? I mean, the PS5 is going to be coming out, and it's eliminate loading screen. So Big Rigs must be so powerful that it can be able to go through like the speed of light, literally, like that is so powerful that it just decimates the PS5's capabilities. If only the PC could handle it.
Right.
Oh God. Blake the Gambler says, what the hell is next? High Glide 2020? Drake of the 99 Dragons? Hong Kong 2K19? Oh.
Don't jinx it. We've covered so many weird things on this show. One guy, we were talking about the Sabrina remake, and some guy was like, oh, what's next? A Charmed reboot? And then I was like, yes. And then I was like, I was joking.
Oh. And Food says, to be fair, Patricia, we're all buying this remaster for the horrendously broken gameplay.
Fair enough.
But I want it on the go. I want to be able to, like, while I'm on a bus trip, like, sit there, pull out my Switch, try and load it, and then it's, like, data corrupted. And I'm like, fuck. And that's that.
I mean, isn't it obvious, Decker? The Switch cannot handle its awesomeness, which is why it has to be exclusively released on PC.
Well, if they had the entire game, like, it didn't have any kind of 3D acceleration, it was all just single-core, single-threaded, just brute force 3D graphics, then maybe the Switch and the home consoles before the next generation would have a little trouble with that.
Very fair.
But that would just be, like, they would have to specifically program it as shittily as possible. Like, there's all these things to help you with what you're trying, but no, we are going to make our own engine, and it's not going to work. Oh.
I got nothing.
Oh.
All right.
We have other video game news that's a little better. If you look at the... Patricia, did you see in the back of the title card there?
No, I actually didn't get a chance to see it. Let me take a look. Hold on. So, I mean, this happened the last time. I see. Oh, yes! Now I see it. Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. Because I need to get away from the ridiculous we just covered for the last 30-something minutes. All right, so, Creepy, it's your turn to read this one. So, this is something else that was revealed at Gamescom. So, the critically acclaimed indie horror game, Little Nightmares, is going to be getting us called Little Nightmares 2, and it's going to be coming out in 2020. So, Creepy, it's your turn to read.
All right. A sequel to the critically acclaimed platformer Little Nightmares coming next year, which we already said that was true. The announcement was made during Gamescom opening night livestream with host Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley. I always say Joff when it's Jeff spelled that way.
It's weird.
We don't know how to give names, okay? It's not happening.
It's Jimmy Keller.
Little Nightmares 2 looks to start the yellow raincoat wearing girl 6 once again. To star the yellow raincoat wearing girl 6 once again, but this time she's accompanied by another young character who wears a paper bag over their head. Okay. This time you will explore outdoor environments like a dilapidated city and a forest. We also saw
Food. Jeff Keighley, the Dorito Pope.
We also saw glimpses of a school where a puppet-like woman stands behind a desk with a ruler in hand in front of a group of children. That's ominous. Little Nightmares is releasing on Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC in 2020. No specific release date has been given yet.
That's
But hey,
cool. It's coming to Switch.
There's something on the Switch, Decker. Yeah.
Will it have gyro controls for walking? I want to just twist the controller around to play all my games. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. I remember when Little Nightmares was out, everybody dark implications that the game had. As I think that the one thing that I
like the Jacksepticeye playthrough of it because he freaked the fuck out when things got really crazy.
I saw the analysis video of Treesicle when they were talking about it, and yeah, it's pretty messed up. If you've seen the anime, the Promised Neverland, it's that in a video game. It is that creepy. Yeah. Except that except that in the first episode, expect it to be that way, but then you find out, oh, it's that. It's already apparent, like when you reach a certain level. But yeah, right. I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Will last name guys like anybody here ever kill somebody purposely or accidentally? I'm like, man, these private investigators aren't even trying anymore.
Maybe we need to get a significant other to search the stuff along with us. Yeah, we need to have a significant other, and we need to go on a bunch of adventures where we solve murder cases. I mean, that's what we have to do.
As long as we can do
our hobby is murder.
Green and yellow and rainbow and tie-dye colors.
Yes.
The hobby is murder.
They review things on the internet together. And their hobby is murder.
They like putting together jigsaw puzzles. And their hobby is murder.
Like take every description of a kid-friendly show and then add that statement to the end of it. They're a group of ponies that live in a magical fairy kingdom. And their hobby is murder.
Oh yeah.
Oh my, that's brilliant. 10 out of 10. Okay, let's go over to our next bit of news. Let's see. Oh, I actually want Decker to read this one.
No, I can't read.
Now
I've been faking it all this time.
Oh, okay. Sure. Just go with it. Okay, so Robert Englund has mentioned a few times that he has retired from the portrayal as Freddy Krueger. I think the last time that he did actually play as Freddy Krueger was in the episode The Neighbors for a Halloween special. But it's been on and off for the longest time about whether he wants to return to the role or whether he wants to have somebody else do it. But recently, he has revealed that he actually knows someone who could actually take his. And it's actually interesting. I'm actually curious about what your thoughts are on this. Robert Englund wants Kevin Bacon to take over as Freddy Krueger.
I could see it.
I mean, he has done Tremors, and he was in the original Friday the 13th where he got killed off, so...
And sure. He also was the Hollow Man.
That is true. So, it's your turn, Decker.
We've been hearing rumors about a possible new A Nightmare on Elm Street movie for years now. Almost 10 fucking years to be exact. And today is no different. Well, kind of. Today we have word that original Freddy Krueger actor Robert Englund thinks if someone is going to take over for him as the Dream Demon Supreme, then it might as well be the long-rumored Kevin Bacon. Englund told the crowd during his Monster Mania panel, "The rumor I've heard that I like is Kevin Bacon. Kevin loves horror. He's a real actor. He's a character actor. Kevin was great in Tremors. Kevin was great in Stir of Echoes. And I've heard this rumor. We need someone like that to take it on and redo it, exploiting all of the new technology." He continues on to say, "We need a Freddy that can do the next 8 movies or 7. I don't want them to remake part 1 again. I'm not Freddy anymore. You guys, I can do 1 more probably if you shot me up with vitamin C. But here's the thing. I can't do 8 more, you guys. So we need a new actor that you guys believe in and trust and love that can go the distance." I don't know about you, but I'd love to see Kevin Bacon take on this role, especially if the rumor is true that High Tension and The Hills Have Eyes director Alexandre Blurry is in the running to reboot Wes Craven's classic for the big screen. The last time we saw Freddy and pals on the big screen was in Samuel Bayer's 2010 remake starring Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy Krueger and Rudy Mara as Nancy Holbrook. That remake sported this rundown. Blur, 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 blur.
You don't need to read that. It's just based of the Nightmare on Elm Street. So,
okay.
There you go.
Bayer directed A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 from a screenplay by Wesley Strick and Eric Hesselvar, based on characters created by Wes Craven. Michael Bay produced the movie. In the remake with Andrew Fulham and Brad Fuller, Jackie Earle Haley, and Ronnie Mara's co-stars include Kyle Garner, Casaderi, Thomas Dekker? What?
Yeah, Thomas Dekker.
And Kellen Lutz. Okay, I can't see. It's blurry.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
It does that thing. It flashes and then it's blurry. New Line Cinema unleashed the updated Nightmare into theaters way back in April 30th, 2010.
Okay. There we go.
It's just every once in a while it just flashes and I can't see shit. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's like I'm trying to live and someone just keeps grabbing my glasses off my face every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Brianna Roberts says, but we found a Freddy, and it's Decker Krueger. Oh, that'd be nice. Krueger. I'd like to be Freddy Krueger, personally. I think my nose is a bit big for the role, but other than that, I could imagine being a horribly mutilated child killer.
I'd like to see that.
Lifelong goal.
Yeah.
I just got to remember to enunciate everything with bitch, and I got it.
Yeah, pretty much.
How badly was he burned? He was burnt to death.
Yes.
He was trapped in a building, and the building was set fire to, and that's how he dies. He just comes back and is like, fuck it, I can still do this.
Yes.
Do I have acting skills? Professionally, in an actual sense of going out there and doing it? No. But I've just been enjoying myself in front of a camera for a while, and I do my little voice work that involves a lot more actual emoting than people like to give on. I feel like I could. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be someone out there who can do it a hell of a lot better from the get-go, but I feel like I could pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. Yeah, I could call up John again and ask him, hey, anyone in Hollywood that would mind putting me into a ton of makeup and having me pretend to kill children? Just send him that right now. See what he responds with.
Well, it's obvious. I mean, in order for that to be great, to just go moseying about to it, it'll be considered to be romantic, apparently.
Food says on Twitch, I'd like to be a horribly mutilated child killer. Decker Shadow 2019. Well, what do you expect? I'm on drugs!
I'm gonna go over to the next article. Okay, so do you remember a while back that we talked Alien High School play? And then somebody shared us the Dr. and Jekyll and Mr. Hyde play that was going to be on Broadway. Well, there's another horror movie that's going to be featured on Broadway. And no, it's not Beetlejuice, if you're asking. So, here... The Shining on Broadway.
And Daily doesn't use you stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Here's Johnny, there's Johnny, it's Johnny. I said, here's Johnny, I'm coming to kill you. Better run away, he's got an axe. Oh, God.
Should I do this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Shining might soon illuminate the Great White Wall after directing. Okay, and it's fuzzy for me, too. Would you mind?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Much appreciated.
No problem.
After directing Dueling Street Gangs in the upcoming West Side Story, where the gangs are singing and dancing, avant-garde director Iva Van Ho will oversee a stage adaptation of Stephen King's best-selling horror novel. How many times has this been remade?
A lot. And don't forget, we're getting Dr. Sleep next year.
Simon Stevens, who received a Tony Award for his adaptation of The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, has been writing the script, and it is believed that the spine-tingling play will premiere in London's West End before heading to Broadway. Telling the tale of a hotel caretaker who goes insane, The Shining is considered to be one of Stephen King's scariest stories. But while the 1977 book sold over 1 million copies and spawned a famous Stanley Kubrick-directed film in 1980, biographer George Beam confirmed that it was originally conceived as a play divided into 5 acts like a Shakespearean tragedy. King always wanted to see The Shining on stage, and in 2014 he permitted a pair of playwrights to turn it into a play. I don't know what the holdup is, wrote King, after learning 2 years later that some artist who wanted to adapt it into an opera could not get past his lawyers. I'd love for this to happen, said, and approved its libretto within 24 hours. Yet, while both adaptations received rave reviews, other adaptations of King's work have not found much success on Broadway. In 1984, screenwriter Lawrence D. Cohen and some songwriters from the 19 film Fame teamed up to transform King's first novel, Carrie, into a blood-curdling musical. I heard about this one, yeah. It premiered in England 4 years later under the banner of the Royal Shakespeare Company. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
And Frederick Kurz, the producer of Cats in Hamburg, raised almost all of the $7 million needed to bring the show to Broadway. Featuring some soaring ballads and an assortment of special effects, Carrie starred Tony Award-winning actress Betty Buckley as the infamous Bible-toting mother. Audience members jumped to their feet to applaud the cast following each preview performance, and the spine-tingling show was selling well at the box office. Are you serious?
Interesting. Now, I could just...
That's not what I've heard.
Mm-hmm. Now I could just imagine, like, we have one scene in the Shining the Musical where we have the twins coming up by saying, "Come play with us forever and ever." It'll go, like, into this trippy scene.
Well, what do you do when you open that elevator and all that blood spills out all over the stage, and then you gotta pull the curtain and bring out a shitload of mops to get ready for the next scene?
I'm thinking like that scene with the twins would be like a sort of like with the kids singing the Freddy Krueger song, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, but they always sing it in a sing-songy, jump-roping rhyme sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god,
go ahead.
He said, "Urge to kill, rising."
Oh, I was gonna read the other one that says, "I wonder how long before we get a Halloween next year." Don't be surprised. With all the talks of Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, it's gonna be inevitable.
I wonder what kind of pipes Michael's got on him.
Who else could we have for like a scary Broadway musical? Let's see. There's Freddy Krueger.
I think we talked about Friday the 13th. Or was that something else?
Brianna Roberts says Cujo the musical.
I'm just imagining Friday the 13th musical with the 2 teenage counselors by the river while young Jason drowns. I wanna have sex with you. I wanna have sex with you. And then
yes.
Yeah, while that song is happening.
How am I the one here who's on drugs?
So yeah, like while the teenagers are thinking about having sex beside the lake, Jason is drowning in the lake.
It kind of reminds you of that Avenue Q song.
Which
Oh my.
which one?
The one that Gary Coleman was singing about, like, you can do so much while you're making love.
You can be as loud as
Yeah,
the
you
hell
can be as
want.
loud as you want while you're making.
Right.
Where Princeton and Kate Monster were doing it.
Right.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just like, it's like, because a musical, you're gonna have to have a song at some point about teenagers having sex. It's just gotta happen.
Of course.
So you may as well do it at the worst possible time to have a song like that. That is when a kid is drowning.
I mean, even musicals that have absolutely nothing to do with songs about that. Grease 2 is a great example. They have 3 songs about sex.
I know. Well, okay. Actually, one of those songs is about procreation. It's about they sing the song reproduction, which is about the act of conceiving a child. It's not the fun part of sex.
And then the other one was "We're Gonna Score Tonight," where the emphasis on bowling.
I remember the first time I ever heard that Grease 2, and I heard that song. I was just like, I was still a teenager, and I'm just like, there's something wrong here. I'm just like, I get it. I mean, I get where the song is going, but at the same time, I don't want it. I'm just like, they're singing about sex, but they're singing about bowling.
Yes. And then the third one is about, a guy convincing a girl to have sex because they're doing it for their country.
That was always just the worst part of the whole film. Just like, oh man, that was just such an incredibly awkward thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I actually did use a clip of that song in a Midnight Wake Theater, but I was using it because the chorus is "Let's do it for our country," and the movie was Sex Files: Alien Erotica, the scene where the Mulder stand-in is trying to get a woman to aid in their investigation. So basically, he literally is asking her to do it for her country.
Of course.
But I mean, like within the actual context of which is not much better, I freely admit, but within the actual context of Grease 2, it's even worse. So I'm like, oh,
Daft Necrosis says "It the Musical." It was Food on Twitch says "Big Rigs," the Broadway musical.
Oh no! Maximum Overdrive, the musical. And you even have one song already pre-made for you. AC's "Who Made Who."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Kevin Burdine has been asking a few times in the chat. Can you please ask Creepy, think of you covering the Futurama franchise and how it covers things going on today, even though it's been canceled for some time?
Believe it or not, I was not a huge fan of Futurama. It was just, I didn't get into it when it first started airing, and I don't know, it just didn't grab me the same way that at the time The Simpsons did, and it didn't grab me later either. It's not that I hate the show, I just don't have a great love for it. Plus, I tend to shy away from shows that are strictly, like, traditionally primarily a comedy,
Yeah.
I tend to cover things like superheroes or action-oriented shows or stuff like that. I don't review many shows that are straight up comedy. And the reason being is that it's kind of awkward to try and do an informative review of it while trying to be funny when there's already jokes in the show being made.
That is very difficult, by the way.
Right. It's like, it's very hard to...
It's a little easier if it's a terrible comedy.
Yes, exactly. Yes. It's easier if it's a terrible comedy, but if it's like, then you have something. But while it's not necessarily my cup of tea, I don't necessarily think that Futurama is a bad comedy. So it would still be awkward. You note that I've done a retrospective on the different seasons of Daria, but I did it season by season because, like I said, trying to make a show funny when it's already funny just seems kind of redundant.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're almost reaching like the hour mark. So time to cover our a few more, and then we get to cover our favorite topic, YouTube news.
Hooray!
I know, and we got a lot of YouTube news this time around. We have 4 topics, and they're all horrible. Well, I mean, one is subjective if you think it's horrible, but we'll get to that later. But there's a few I want to cover right before we get to YouTube news. So let's see. Oh, this let's go over to some happy news because because we actually talked about this. We haven't heard anything ever since. So, Universal Studios Japan is creating a section of their called Super Nintendo World, where they're going to be having their video game characters, and they're going to have like sections of it, like rides and attractions and all that. And we haven't heard of it in over a year, but just recently, there has been a few pictures of it. So this photo has recently emerged of the Super Nintendo World for Universal Studios Japan. Although it's a little bit hard to see what game it's supposed to represent, but they are still making it.
Waterworld?
Bionic
it does.
Commando?
Waterworld for the Virtual Boy.
Yes, exactly. That is what it is. It is Waterworld for the Virtual. They're recreating that. Okay, so whose turn is it again?
I think I just went.
Okay, so
also
it's
my
Decker's.
voice is going.
Okay, so it's Decker's turn.
We have a new clear photograph. Oh, that's subjective. Of Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan. See, never mind.
Okay.
See that block of terrain in the distance on that tweet below? That's it. It's clearly a Super Mario aesthetic. But I can't quite place it onto a specific Super Mario Brothers U. New Super Mario Brothers. The more interesting part of this tweet, well, to me, is that we can see this from the Waterworld live show stage. Oh, that explains the... Oh, it is Waterworld then.
Oh, okay. Now I see it. It is Waterworld, but it's a little tiny here, right there.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, okay.
It's a tiny thing way in the back of the Waterworld. It's the island that you go. That's where he ended up, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't like it here because the land doesn't move right." That's where he was standing. It was fucking Super Mario Land. No wonder he didn't like how it moved. You know?
Okay.
Waterworld has been a feature of Universal Studios Japan since 2001, and Universal Studios Hollywood since 1995. Not relevant, but it goes to show that Universal Studios is a strange place where apparently anything can happen. We know the addition of the park will be heavily themed around the Super Mario series. In a previous released image, we see motifs of warp pipes and mushroom houses, as well as Bowser's Castle. The park is also heavily implied to house a Mario Kart-based attraction. Well, that's kind of an obvious go-to.
I mean, duh.
Now that Mario and Kevin Costner are neighbors, there's absolutely no good reason not to pack up all your things and move to Japan. While I'm not saying that we'll see Costner's Mariner in Smash, I am saying that it's more possible at this point than seeing Goku. I wouldn't say that. I mean, there have been Dragon Ball games on Nintendo consoles.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z sagas.
We're still a ways out from the Super Nintendo World 2020 opening, but hopefully this little peek is enough to keep up the excitement. What kind of attractions are you hoping for in Super Nintendo World? Do you recognize a game set to match in the blocks? Let us know. I don't know.
Could be. Oh, God, camera.
Who needs cameras?
I do. Otherwise, people are going to say, "Hey, Patricia, where are you? I can't see you." Yeah, so it's actually funny because last year when this was first announced, I think there was like the attractions that Super Nintendo World was going to have. There was going to be one on Mario. There was going to be one on Star Fox, Metroid, Kirby. Legend of Zelda, Mario Kart, and they were like all divided into like different sections. So I don't know if that blueprint is official or maybe it was just like a thought of maybe what it could be, but I think that, all of those possibilities would be pretty awesome. Like we have Mario Kart here, Donkey Kong over there, Star Fox over here, Kirby over there, Metroid over here, Splatoon over there. I mean, I would love it.
Ow. I just need to tell myself it's fine. You don't have to move to Japan, no matter how damn good their udon is.
Yes. Okay, so everybody, as soon as Decker raises the money so that he can go over to Universal Studios to see the Hollywood, the horror night.
That's not happening. It's not possible. It's not gonna go on, and I'm not gonna ask for it because we're not. It's an all or none thing. So if we raise most of it, that's just a whole bunch of money that I end up with that I can't put to what it was meant to be put to, and then I'm just in an asshole position because I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna be like, I'd love to, but can't.
Yeah. Dark Necrosis says about the Kirby section needs a food eating contest. I remember that there was actually a Kirby themed restaurant a few years ago in Japan that had like these little cute Kirby themed foods. And if you were actually by yourself, like if you went to the restaurant alone, then you can actually request to have like a Waddle Dee sit next to you so you wouldn't feel lonely. I thought that was just so adorable. And they had some of the cutest plush dolls that you would ever see. It was just adorable, but sadly it's not there anymore. But every time I see that video and I see the little cute Waddle Dee sitting next to
contest in the Kirby section, yes.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, I mean you'll probably die because you can't beat Kirby.
It'll be like a cotton candy eating contest section.
Oh yeah, I can't see the repercussions of that.
Just a bunch of kids with sugar highs running around Super Mario World.
Yes, Universal Studios gave me diabetes. Oh my god. Okay. But no, I mean that would be so.
To have it next to the insulin booth, it'll be fine.
Oh my god.
I think we need to move on.
Yes, we do.
But now I want cotton candy.
You brought this on yourself, as usual.
Yeah.
And I want butterbeer, damn it.
Butterbeer is really good, depending on which one you have. You either hot or cold. I was there around Christmas time, but then again, it was Florida, so it was freaking hot. So I had to. I actually had the cold butterbeer, and it was actually really good. It tastes like melted butterscotch if you drink it. It's essentially, that's what it tastes like.
Tastes like diabetes.
Yes it does. Okay, let's go over to our next bit of news.
But on Twitch, Blake the Gambler says, Nintendo World Goers, I'm on drugs, Bowser! He is. This is mushrooms. That's what keeps him going.
That is true.
I'm pretty sure that's not what Miyamoto meant when he put that in there, but it's kind of meant that for a few decades now, so...
Pretty much. Alright, so let's go over to some horror. So there's been a trailer out for a long time of this Japanese zombie movie that has actually gotten a lot of popularity. It's actually it's actually building up to being a huge cult classic overseas, but it's really huge in Japan. And finally, we're going to see it in America. They call it the next generation's Shaun of the Dead. At least that's what I've heard in reviews.
Can anyone else hear that?
I'm sorry. Did I break up again?
No. In the back of my.
Oh, no, I didn't hear anything. Anyway, the movie is called One Cut of the Dead, and it's being released in Shudder exclusively, sadly. So if you have a Shudder account, at least you can watch it. Okay, I think it's my turn. Yeah. There aren't many films that make over times their initial budget. But Japan's One Cut of the Dead made for just 3 million yen, or $25,000. It became a word of mouth smash, making $30.5 million. Wow, that's really impressive. The cult hit has been winning awards and at the festival circuit since its release in 2017, but has been hard if you live in the US. That is until Shudder is once again bringing another horror gem to screens. The film hits the streaming service this autumn, but first Shudder will be releasing the films in its US theatrical debut. We're big fans of the flick and are excited to exclusively debut the trailer here. The hyper-meta film centers on the crew of a low-budget zombie movie who are trying to shoot their magnum opus when a real zombie apocalypse, and their director, Higurashi, played by Takayuki Hamachi, can't believe his luck. Gonzo filmmaking at its finest. One Cut of the Dead relishes in its own limitations and is completely inventive, utterly addicting, and very, very silly. The film originally had a very, very limited run, but garnered massive praises and a huge amount of traction. It became the 7th biggest domestic film of the year in Japan and a genre in horror circles. Currently sitting pretty with 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, One Cut of the Dead is hitting Shudder just in time for the most spooky movie season, the fall. Best zombie comedy since Zombie of the Dead, as Shaun of the Dead, and this is what the poster looks like.
Oh, great! It's found footage.
No. It's based off the movie is about a film crew shooting a zombie movie. So I don't think it's a found footage. It doesn't say in the
okay, I get confused. I see a camera there, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I don't think it's a found footage film, but it's a movie about filmmakers.
And I'm distracted by all that noise behind me. You seriously don't hear that?
No. So if a zombie has broken into your house, I'm afraid.
No, it's just that kind of stuff.
Nothing like that is coming through.
And it's not quiet. It's loud noise. Loud.
Sorry.
Loud. And hello, Teddy Rupskin. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Teddy.
Go.
And Darth Necrosis thinks I'm going crazy, and Teddy Rupskin seems to agree.
Darth Necrosis says, Live and Wired, episode 45, diabetes. Because of course. All right. I think that, let me see if I can think of anything else. I guess we should move. Okay, one more article, then we move over to the YouTube news. And this is one that, sadly, a lot of people have been talking about since yesterday. It became... It's currently, as of when I found this article, it was like the number one hashtag on Twitter, hashtag Funimation. If you know what I'm talking about, yeah, we're getting into some rough terrain. Okay, let's get this over with. All right. Yes, so I'm sure you guys already heard that somebody leaked some recordings of Funimation's backlog. Some people were, discussing about like how incredible it is because it was saying a bunch of jokes about controversial topics, and now people are concerned about whether Funimation could even continue to do, their dubs of Dragon Ball. So. Creepy. It's are you feeling okay now, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I think I can do it.
Okay.
Anime company Funimation is currently the number one trend on Twitter after inappropriate recording sessions were leaked online. These recording sessions included the voices of Dragon Ball Z voice actors making homophobic remarks as well as incest and sexual jokes. The Funimation audio leaks come while the company is in the midst of a legal battle with voice actor
Vic Mignogna,
who cut ties with after reports of sexual misconduct. It remains to be seen how the Funimation audio leaks may impact the company's business movement forward, especially as it seems to have upset some Japanese voice actors who have been actively tweeting about it. However, something else to consider is how it may impact English dubs of video games, like the upcoming Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game, for instance.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's just pictures, so I don't think we can't actually listen to the audio. One, it will cause a ton of. I think your video will be demonetized in like 2 seconds.
Well, they already demonetized it for just existing, but at the same time, I do understand what you're getting at.
Yeah. So now people are really, really angry at Funimation because of what they discussed about what was discovered. You know, because if you remember, last year Vic Mignogna was fired because that was when people were revealing that he was treating them inappropriately. He was like getting too close to certain young girls and like giving their phone numbers and stuff like that. So they were like, yeah, let's distance ourselves. And now people are saying that Funimations are hypocrites because listen to these recordings. They joke about this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a large can of worms. I understand that when it comes to bloopers, I've heard so many bloopers of anime and cartoons. They will take it like really, really far. And that's why they don't release these kind of bloopers out in the open. So now that these have been leaked and, now people are questioning about like what's going to happen next. So yeah, I don't know what to say about this.
Matanui says if you play that on the stream, they will demonetize you. This is some seriously advertiser-unfriendly language they're using. And my problem here is, like, I would love to give my opinion, except I didn't listen to the recordings, and it's so vague. So has anyone here actually listened to it?
I listened to it, and it gets pretty far at points, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Because it's like saying, it's got homophobic language. That doesn't really tell me anything. Like, at the end of Rush Hour 1, in the bloopers, there's a part where the police are there with Chris Tucker, and he's like, show me your ass, and he's like, show me ass? Yeah. Y'all some gay-ass cops. That could be considered homophobic language in 2019. Well, that's right there on the thing. That it's just like, okay, so I'm like, okay, what does this mean exactly? I can't really tell unless I listen to it, and I don't really want to subject myself to it if it is terrible. I was like,
Yeah.
So I trust you, Patricia, on it gets pretty extreme.
It does get extreme at some points, yes. But, some of them are like little light. It's like, it's like kind of immature. Like,
Darth Necrosis says it's bad. Very, very, very bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I can understand that the Japanese were, like, furious when they heard about this. Because, you have to understand, people like Masako Nozawa, Ryusei Nakao, who have been voicing these characters for decades at least, and they treat their characters very, very seriously because Japanese voice actors are very different actors. Japanese voice actors are considered to be celebrities where they're at. And Dragon Ball is a huge phenomenon in Japan. Although not as much as One Piece, but it's still huge regardless. And
so to just be disrespectfully playing around with the characters, like, screw it, let's just messed up a little here, okay, we'll just blurt this crap out. It's disrespectful.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what Japanese bloopers are like. I don't think that they do it very early. Because I think it's different. I know that some of them do a lot of ad-lib because I recall there's this wonderful website, by the way, Tuxedo Unmasked, who reveals very interesting information about Sailor Moon, about the original voice actor for Tuxedo Mask. He would ad-lib a lot of his lines, which is why if you translate it with the Viz dub and it sounds really cheap, that's the reason why. It was supposed to be like a joke, and it was like on the spot. So when it comes to these characters, they are still iconic. Is like hugely massive in Japan. He's going to be one of the ambassadors in the 2020 Olympics. So yeah, and the fact that the Japanese voice actors are just like shocked they heard that the Funimation voice actors are just saying these inappropriate things to these characters that they've done for a very long time. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next.
All right.
Oh, and by the way, I'm going into full Funimation is now owned by Sony. That happened a few years ago, so let's see what Sony does for this.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, yay.
On to
Um,
the YouTube news. Even worse things than that.
yay.
Yay.
So where do we start with first? Do we start with the $200 million fine because they were violating children's privacy, or not showing the exact amount of subscribers because it was there for their well-being?
I feel like we could just talk about we could get the subscriber thing done relatively quickly.
Yeah, that's true. We could do that. It's not even that long. So, okay. And let's see. Now I know that now I actually did see, before I go over to the YouTube news. I actually did see people saying, "Oh, but it was from 10 years ago, and I don't think this anymore." It's very similar to James Gunn, in which they were revealing about all the things that he did that was a long time ago, and he since we haven't heard anything from Funimation saying if they, if that practice isn't done anymore, if they're regretting. I have no idea. Maybe they do regret it. Maybe it was something from a long time they don't do anymore. Well, I mean, maybe we'll give you an update on the next episode of Live and Wired. We'll just have to wait. But let's see. YouTube news. And the video playing because of course it is. Okay, YouTube to stop displaying creators' exact subscriber counts for their well-being. Because of course.
It's because they care about us. Just like they always do.
Alright, it's your turn, Decker.
YouTube will soon be abbreviating the displayed subscriber count of creators. The move was announced back in May, coincidentally enough 1 month after the subscriber count started fucking up. But it will be slowly rolling out this coming September. Last May, YouTube gave creators a heads up that it will soon abbreviate the subscriber count displayed on desktop and in the app for anyone with more than 1,000 subscribers. This means that if a creator has 4,227 subscribers, it will be abbreviated to 4.2K until the channel reaches a subscriber count of 4,300 subscribers. Back then, YouTube did not give any more details as to why it was making the changes, but acknowledged that it knows how important subscriber counts are to both the YouTube creators and their fans. And did they acknowledge? I mean, I could look right now. Like, I guess. Let me real quick. Let me just get this like this again. Haha. Okay, real quick. Let me just do this over here because it's relatively simple. I'm gonna go over to my dashboard over here, and the YouTube Studio Beta, and over here I'm going to go in the Creator Studio Classic. And here, on the Creator Studio Classic, it says I have 138,440 subscribers. Very good. Nice. Thank you very much. That is very awesome. Over here on YouTube Studio Beta, it says I have 138,255 subscribers.
Okay,
It's been like this since April.
Damn.
But it's our well-being, just so you know. It's just they're very concerned about how we feel. It's not that they're just making it so you can't really see this anymore. It's not that they caused a problem, don't know how to fix it, so they're just blocking you from being able to see it. That's not it.
They just care.
They just care about our well-being, and it's better for us this way. Don't you get it? You sillies. Sillies. On August 29th, YouTube announced that it would be gradually rolling out the abbreviated subscriber counts this September, reminding the public that while they will see the abbreviated counts, creators will still be able to see the specific numbers in YouTube Studio and YouTube Analytics. This time, however, YouTube explained a major reason for the abbreviation. Evidently, apart from consistency, YouTube made the change to address the stress and well-being of creators. The idea that by abbreviating the subscriber count, creators will experience less stress about it and focus more on telling their story and creating content. Well, the only time when losing a couple of subscribers really stresses you out is when you have less than 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you're like, oh, well, that happens. Positive step for the community. While we know not everyone will agree with the update, we hope it's a positive step for the community, both those viewing and creating content. YouTube notes. True enough, the comments of the announcement are less than accepting of the change, with some saying that no one wanted or asked for it, and others saying that it's a bad idea. Some, however, are suggesting that the change be an optional one. On the flip side, there are those, though less, who are thanking the YouTube team, and some who agree that it would help creators focus on creating content rather than competition, or the subscriber count. Those people then received their checks from Google and left.
I was about to say.
Oh, boy. So, yeah.
I think that's enough.
Oh, we got more.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been on YouTube in the last 2 weeks, Creepy, but there is someone whose apology, well, not really apology video, has just been suggested to literally everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know, I wasn't watching his stuff before the controversy, and I certainly wasn't watching it after, yet for some reason to me and to Charlie, who also never watched his shit, we're getting suggested to watch his big explanation, "You've been lied to," where he contradicts what he himself said previously, but it makes him look better if you didn't see that earlier stuff where he acknowledged that he did a lot of the stuff that he's being accused of.
Yeah, it's true. Alright, so, wrong button again.
Oh, okay. There are no wrong buttons on Live and Wired.
Alright, so yeah, we're talking about Pro Jared.
Right.
Alright, so, let's see, who's, is it my turn? Yeah, it's my turn.
Oh, okay.
Okay, don't worry, Creepy, you're... Okay, YouTuber Pro Jared Knabenbauer, Jared Pro Jared Knabenbauer, has posted a video denying allegations from 3 months ago that he supposedly had exchanged nude photos with 2 underage fans. Knabenbauer acknowledged that he did exchange nude photos with other fans, clarifying that this was consensual, although there was a power imbalance between himself and his fans. Okay.
So, I didn't do it because I did it. But it was okay the way I did it. You gotta understand.
Yeah, I actually...
You have to listen to the context of the nude photo sharing with underage fans.
Yeah, I actually did...
Someone's gonna clip that and just like, Decker Shadow defends sharing nude photos with underage fans. Cause he's on drugs.
I actually saw somebody, a brave soul, mind you, on Twitter who actually posted like an in-depth discussion about what he said. And apparently it was something along the lines of, you've been lied to. There were 2 particular people that claimed that they were underage and blah, 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 stuff like that. It's like apparently one of them suffered from severe brain damage and amnesia and, clearly wasn't even there when Jared was even mentioning about this. And then there was another one who he did meet, but had never treated her inappropriately or something, and she claimed that she was treated inappropriately or something. I don't know. But I mean, even if those things were to be false, even if that was to be the case, I mean, he still shared nude photos of himself.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I try and play devil's advocate as much as possible, and, like, listen to that. It's like, okay, so what happened here? Oh, he said he did share those photos. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Well, that's that, then.
And then there was, like, talks about, like,
Brandon Kilgore's asking, were him and his wife really swingers? I think he said he was, like, in an open relationship, which still doesn't open you up to underage girls, but, I think that the jury on that is still a bit out. Like, according to him, yes, we were. According to her, no.
Yeah.
So, no. I don't know. I didn't get an absolute, completely nailed down answer to that, but, I really don't feel like that's important anyway. Like, for the overall thing, the little kid thing, it's a no. It's a no. You said you did that, you don't do that. There's no, let me explain, no.
Yeah.
You did it bad.
There are some people who actually did see the video and like, okay, I'm willing. That's perfectly fine. If you feel like he's completely innocent, then, like I said, I would have no qualms against you. Same here. If Funimation were to apologize for the leaked audio, saying we don't do that anymore and we regret what we've done, and we apologize. I mean, if it was from a long time ago and they don't do this anymore, and they are more into like producing good quality dubs, and like I said, I mean that's perfectly fine. Like I said, YouTube.
Raggedy Skag says that he did watch the video and it clears up a lot of the stuff that he did. They've always been a fan of Pro Jared and they're willing to defend him. So that's a voice from the other side. So
okay, that's fair.
I'm wondering how exactly it clears it, because that's just the part where I'm saying like it says yes he did, and I'm like, well then yes you did. Okay. I'm a very kind of like, well that's that. That's kind of how I am. So I'd like to hear. I don't know if you can quickly elaborate in a YouTube comment on a live chat to open my mind up a bit to your point of view there.
Yeah, I'm actually curious as well. I mean, again, I didn't see the video, so I don't know what he stated.
I mean, I am sounding pretty solid in my position here, but I'm always interested in information and the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that covers that. So, one somewhat ended on a high note. I'm not going to talk about the two. Oh, that's the phone. I'm not going to talk about the $200 million fine or that YouTube refuses to negotiate.
Okay, I got a response. Raggedy Skag says he has records of him asking the person making the claims against him if they're 18, and they tell him yes. He admits he shares the photos with them after that, but he presents his evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So that is interesting. That does change a bit.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like one of the people or both of you, because there's two. It's still. And Bill Cage saying at Decker Shadow, then do some research. It's like, well, yeah, I wasn't looking to get up on a soapbox and tell everyone this is the almighty truth. Though I guess I am in a bit of a position, a bit of an authoritative position, so I should probably just cover my ass enough anyway, because I might be perceived that way. But yeah. I'm just, okay, I might have to watch the video now. Dang it.
All right. Well, let's just end one more. YouTube
so that would still be infidelity, but at the same time, well, that would be whether is he in an open relationship or not. That question that I said that I don't have the answer to.
I still don't even know that either. All right. So one bit of news. So PewDiePie, he has hit a new milestone on YouTube by being the very 100 million subscribers. Yeah. Now I've never really watched any of PewDiePie's videos, so I mean, I know that a lot of people do like him. I know that a lot of people also don't like him as well because of his controversial discussions about various topics, but I mean, yeah, I guess that for the most part, it's just talking about like how PewDiePie had the best week ever. He got married to his girlfriend. He had 100,000 subscribers. And yeah, and also he was like really popular with his Minecraft apparently. So I mean, you know what, I guess that's fine. I mean, if you're a PewDiePie fan and you are happy for it, then yeah, that's awesome.
Yay.
All right, well, okay, I guess we
the thing going on where people were saying, okay, with YouTube changing the way that subscribers were counted, he had to get the 100 million soon, otherwise people wouldn't be able to witness the moment.
Yeah, he would have gotten the 90. It would have gotten the 900.
It's at 99M, and then just sit there waiting and waiting and waiting to see if it just changes to 100M at some point.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, YouTube is doing it for his own good. They know better.
Anyway.
All right, I think we're done here.
Yeah. Patricia, what have you got going on?
Okay, well, what I have going on, I already posted up my discussion of Rocco's Modern Life Saturday. I'm going to be doing Dora and the Lost City of Gold pretty soon. I'm still working on the Good Burger script. I actually finally got this in the mail after like waiting forever. I got.
Did you get the big orange VHS?
No, I didn't.
Did they make the DVDs on orange? They have it on Orange Ray?
I don't think so. I think they just have like the the cover, with Keenan and Kel, and it's just basically blue. That's how it looks, but it's not orange. I wish it was orange. Awesome. But no, what I got instead, I actually had gotten the Good Burger to Go. That is the sequel, the book sequel that was continuing the story after the original. And I've been waiting for that for the longest time because I'm going to look back original movie. And Keenan and Kel announced a few months ago that they want to do a Good Burger too. And I was like, oh, is it going to be based on this book? And I'm actually going to be talking about it as well. So there's that. And I got a bunch of other podcasts coming up. Now that we're done with Dream Machine, which is the DreamWorks podcast that Aaron and I did, we're going to be starting a new one pretty soon. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff coming. Oh, one more thing. I actually edited something for Creepy, and I'm sure that he'll announce it whenever that he wants to in due time. But it's something that we've been working on time, and we finally can, talk about it when he's ready. So.
Got a $10 super chat from James Conlon asking, will Decker and Creepy be doing a Godzilla King of the Monsters crossover review once summer is over? And we still got to do the Power Rangers.
We got
a lot of projects coming up, actually.
we got Power Rangers. We've got the other movie.
But gonna do a review on some TV shows like American Horror Story. TV. That's those. Not TV. Not the TV. Creepy, what you got going on?
I've got a Batman retrospective coming up, which I just got the dialogue from Yama tonight, so I need to listen to that. I need for my throat to get better so that I'm speaking clearly on camera and I don't sound like I'm stopped up. And I also have a Lex review coming up soon.
Okay, awesome.
I mean, you know how much Kendall looks forward to Lex.
Sure.
About as much as Chibi Thulu enjoys Jem.
Yay. Well, at least with Chibi Thulu, the good news is it's almost over. So
it's almost over. Yeah, it's not going to be it'll be on the channel, but we're almost done with the series, and so
yeah.
Speaking of which, there is
go ahead.
Real quick. There is something that's also coming up in October that we're going to be celebrating. In addition to a celebration this coming September, right around the corner, September, with that we're going to be celebrating. We'll also be celebrating something in October as well, and there's going to be 2 different anniversaries this coming September and in October too.
Oh, nice.
Whew.
And I'm done.
Okay. First of all, I got to see about what is wrong with that little viewer count, because it's been saying 80 on YouTube for a long time, and according to the restream window over there, only 71 people total are watching across all platforms, so yay!
Anyway.
What I got going on, still finishing off the summer of Jackie Chan. I'm going to be doing Rush Hour 3 soon.
Yay.
And then there are 2 more Jackie Chan movies after that to finally finish it off. And then I can move on to greener pastures, like horror and bloody death and gore everywhere, and cursing and titties.
And teenagers with attitude.
And dinosaurs.
I got a $2 super chat from Will Last Name Guy saying, who does the voice of Chibi Thulu?
Yama, my boyfriend.
Yeah, Egonyama70.
And Gonyama 70.
Follow him on Twitter.
Yeah. Aside from that, gaming channel, I've been losing a bit of time that I was supposed to be spending actually playing games, so I don't exactly have too much going there except for the live streams that I got going from Twitch, downloading and re-uploading them to YouTube to have something there. So, yay. But as far as the live streaming goes, I've been playing a decent amount of Remnant from the Ashes. Control just came out, played that for a bit. But I'm feeling more like playing Remnant just because it's really fun.
Okay.
And it's a pain in the ass. But it's the fun kind of pain in the ass. Like, I understand why you kicked my ass, so I'm going to come back around and change my strategy. No, you kicked my ass again. In fact, you've kicked my ass 50 times in a row. I feel like I'm doing something very wrong here. But this is fun. That's how video games work.
Sure. That's why people love Dark Souls so much. Oh, I lost again. Play you again.
That's one of the reasons. One of the things where Remnant, it's from Gunfire Games, small dev studio, put out by Perfect World Entertainment for $40. So it's pretty good price for the kind of game it is, and it's kind of like Dark Souls but a shooter. And because it's not made by From Software, and because it's like Dark Souls, you got the people who like that kind of game, but they don't go for it because it's not made by From Software, and they feel like only From Software is allowed to make games of this kind of style. Or you have people who avoid the Dark Souls games anyway because you actually like yourself, and so you're still not going to go for a Dark Souls style game that's not Dark Souls.
We have a $4.99 comment from Jerry the Ferret who says, "Do you playing Borderlands 3, Doom Eternal, or Cyberpunk 2077?"
I plan on playing any of the upcoming games. Borderlands 3, I have that on pre-order. Unless if the YouTube stuff, I think I still have like an Amazon gift card, so if the YouTube stuff still gets worse and worse and worse, I could cancel the pre-order payment method that I have and change it to the gift card. I think I could work. I might be able. I should probably do that right now. Doom Eternal, I don't have that pre-ordered, but I am very interested in it, specifically the Switch version, because I am that much on gyro controls. Gyro aiming makes everything better. It doesn't matter how much crappier the frame rate is, or how much muddier the textures are. Gyro aiming! Anyway, Cyberpunk 2077, Charlie has been very, very interested in that, so we're probably going to be getting that. Probably. Review any of the Batman movies. That's a good idea. But we should be finishing this up.
Yeah.
So, I never did a review of Batman Ninja. Don't that count?
Yeah, it does count. It's a Batman movie.
Thank you all for joining us. I've been Decker Shadow.
I've been Patricia.
And I'm that long-haired creepy guy. And remember,
don't say anything that you will regret decades down the line that could be recorded and used against you. Also, maybe ask for ID instead of just their word.
And also, just because a company limits you on how much you're making or how much you're gaining in subscribers, don't worry, because they're doing it for your well-being.
good night, everybody.